This is the 2024 AFL Premiership season.
On your radio,
on digital, and the ABC Listener.
look for the AFL button.
Something big is coming, I know.
Richmond versus Port Adelaide, Sunday afternoon footy at the MCG as round 2 continues, and two incredible individual stories at either ends of their career. Travis Boak becoming just the 23rd player in the history of VFL-AFL footy to reach 350 games, while for the Tigers, McKelty Lafau is going to start as the sub on debut. He was in New Zealand until his early teens, came across to join the Melbourne Storm's development program, switched to Australian rules football, and now he's making his debut in the big time at the MCG for the Tigers today. All of that in front of us. We're about 2 minutes away from the bounce. My name's Corbin Middlemass. Matt Clinch is here to call the footy with me. Good afternoon, Clinchy. Great to have you with us.
Hello, Corby. Yes, it's all about Travis Boak, isn't it, this afternoon? Port Adelaide looking to start the season 2 wins from their 2 games. And as you mentioned, what a challenge for the Tigers and Adam Uze, who's still searching for his first win.
So many great subplots. Savan Soldo playing against his old team for the first time. We've got a star-studded cast in the second row. Part of our grand final team for a number of years, one of the best analysts in the game. Dual All-Australian Brett Delidio. Hello, Leeds.
Corby, good to be here. Beautiful day for it. Looking forward to Travis Boak, 350, and McKelty Lafau. I can't wait to see him play. Just watch his boys give him the hucker in the room. So it was spine tingling, that sort of stuff. I love that.
How good is that, to have a hucker in the rooms pre-game to show just how far the game's come, and now a fully fledged New Zealander making his debut today in the national game. We're always lucky to have the great Mick Moldhouse with us, the coaching games record holder. Also happened to put a nice big gaudy premiership medal around his neck playing for the Tigers. Hello, Mick.
G'day, Corby, Matt, Brett, and our listeners. I'm really looking forward to this game. And you stole my thunder a little bit there, Corby, about the rucks. That's something that's going to be fascinating for a start off. Who's going to go to Lynch is something else. And is Port as good as what people make out?
Zerk Thatcher's
are they as good?
Well, there's no time to wait. So Zerk Thatcher to Lynch. We're ready to go. Lauren Borden will check in with her on the boundary in a moment. The sun is shining. The yellow Sharon's out. The Tigers and the power from the G. You're with Matt Clinch.
Avan Soldo, the Premiership Tiger, up against Toby Nankervis, and Nankervis wins down the opening tap. Wines can't get a disposal away for Port Adelaide. Charging in is Baker. He's ducked in a tackle by Soldo. A free kick going the way of Richmond. Gets the hand pass away to Dan Rioli. He's able to link up with Short with that long raking kick inside 50. Lynch is the target. Getting back Aaliyah. Courageously backpedaling into danger. He takes the mark for Port Adelaide. Inside the defensive 50. He works it out to Ollie Wines, who marks that left half back. Opening 30 seconds.
So that's where Aaliyah comes into his own, when he's able to do that instead of having to man up a Lynch.
Wines dangerous to the middle of the ground. Dan Rioli picks it off, gets it going forward. Baker centre half forward, hand pass over his shoulder to Mansell. He feeds Lynch in the goal square. First one coming up, and Lynch bangs it into the advertising hoardings. Richmond with the opening goal inside 50 seconds. The Tigers roaring early at the G. 1 straight 6. Port Adelaide yet to score. 1 minute into proceedings. Lauren Borden on the boundary. Good afternoon, Loz.
Afternoon, Corb. Nice to be down here. It's a beautiful day for footy. But just watching on with Richmond, they've actually had a very late change in the warm-up. So Maurice Rioli won't be playing in the game. During the warm-up, he just started chatting to Adam Uze. He's gone down into the rooms. Judson Clark will take his spot. He'll be going onto the bench as a sub, which means McKelty Lafau will actually start the game. So he won't be the sub. He's sitting on the bench now and will be able to go on at the first rotation.
How about that for some drama? Straight out of the gates. Thanks, Loz. So we didn't catch that. Maurice Rioli out of the game. Judson Clark the sub. McKelty Lafau will start.
That's good for the kid. I like that.
Absolutely. Back in the middle, Soldo wins down the tap for Port Adelaide to Ollie Wines, who gets the hand pass away to Butters. Little fumble, he's under pressure now as Thompson downlays the tackle. Quick 1-2 with Soldo, and it's always the way. Butters finds a way out of danger. Kicks up towards half forward. Burn-Jones takes the mark for Port Adelaide. Hand pass to Travis Boak in game 350. He works it up to Willem Drew at left half forward. Inside 50, you heard there, what a pass. And charging out Connor Rosie with that famous number 1 on his back. The new Port Adelaide captain will line up slightly left of centre, 45 metres out.
I think Champion Data are listening to our call as well. They're only changing their computers now after hearing Loz's
groundbreaking.
Yes.
How good was the foot skills there, Mick, of Port Adelaide there? Beautiful kick by Drew into Rosie. One of my favourite players in the comp. I love watching this kid play.
Got the perfect 10 votes from the coaches last week in his first game as captain. Connor Rosie comes in. It's out to the right. And the first score of the afternoon for Port Adelaide is a behind Richmond 1 straight 6. 2.5 minutes gone. Opening term from the MCG.
So with Clark coming in, that is 6 changes for Richmond from the side that lost by less than a kick to Carlton. A lot of changes. It was last Thursday night, and the Tigers, more than a quarter of their team swapped out. Long ball out of defence from Richmond up on the wing. Aaliyah lays a heavy tackle there and will have a ball up in the sunshine. The shadows lengthening from the stands on the northern side of the ground. It's a Richmond home game, and remembering the might of the Tigers in recent years and the 100,000 members, and yet level 4 isn't even open today, so soft crowd in. Butters got a hand pass away. Kick comes inside 50 from Houston. Picked off though by the Tigers. McIntosh bounces a kick to the wing. Clean pick up Rioli. Nice work Burne-Jones. Taps it out of his hands to the advantage of Houston. The power back the other way. Marshall the target, and he marks in front of Grimes at high half forward against the boundary line. Tigers by 5 points early.
He has Charlie Dixon and Finlayson long, sends it in the direction of Dixon, wrestling with Miller, gets good support. Nick Gloston comes in from the side and takes the mark for the Tigers. He's kicked to the last line, put Jaden Short under pressure. Can Willie Rioli get a boot to it? They're both on all fours. Gloston comes racing back. Rioli lays the tackle. It's socketed through by Burne-Jones. Not sure that's going to make too many highlights, but for Port Adelaide, it's their first goal of the match. They're on the board and they take the lead, 1-1-7. To Richmond 1 straight 6, and just a skill error there on the last line. Don't see Jaden Short fumble too many of those.
It was like they all had banana skins on their feet there.
Yeah,
no one could keep their feet.
No, in the goal square, which is unusual because it's a very good day. There'll be no dew whatsoever. It's it'll be short cut grass. Should be able to hold up. Just a bit of panic, real panic in fact by the Tigers.
Dropping the ball probably from Gloston early. Good tackle, Rioli there just on as all small forwards do, getting right after it, but scrap forward, got it there, kicked it off the ground. It's probably going to go through, and Burne-Jones just knocks it through. Nice little cheap one. I love those when you're starting the game.
Well, they've got the numbers there, Brett, and that's important.
Yes.
In any game of football, you outnumber the opposition, you've got a chance.
Restart back in the middle, early lead change, powered by 1. Knocked down by the Tigers, comes at the way of Wines. Hand pass goes to Houston. He links up with Drew, and that's a good kick. Straight onto the chest of Jeremy Finlayson, your former teammate, Lids, who's got it centre half forward.
A couple of kicks inside 50 there from Willem Drew. They're giving the backmen zero chance whatsoever. They have just been absolute darts. Big Jezza, he's got the distance. There's no worries about that. It's going to be all about the accuracy. Yeah, generally, if he can get off to a good start, he's in for a good day.
Full time in Ballarat, the Bulldogs by 8 goals. 48-point victory over the Suns. Here's Jeremy Finlayson. His left footer sails goalward. It's out to the right. It's a behind. Lauren Borden's on the boundary. The power by a couple of points. Loz.
So it's back soreness for Maurice Rioli, the reason that he won't take part in the game. Basically, a minute before the first bounce was when he got pulled off. So Judson Clark's made his way up, did a few run-throughs, and that's basically been his warm-up to be the sub, I guess. So he's got time.
Thanks, Loz. You're all over it. Thankfully, we are as well. As Dan Rioli brings the Tigers back into play to Short in the right back pocket, trying to get it up towards Tom Lynch. He can't take the mark, and Lockie Jones takes the mark for Port Adelaide between wing and half forward. On the Shane Warne stand side, he looks for options across half forward, and Willem Drew runs into space. Hasn't he improved in the last couple of seasons? Inboard, what a great pass to Dan Houston.
3 from 3.
Yeah, and then that's very, very poor manning up by the Tigers. The Tigers are all over the shop. They've got so many players back from 35 metres to the goal square. They are forgetting that a lot of Port players are excellent long kicks, and they're just deserting that 15 metres, and they're getting picked off.
Dan Houston is directly in front, 50 metres out.
Downhill.
1 of 3 All-Australians for Port Adelaide last season. Let's put it to test. He puts it out to the right, doesn't quite have the distance, and off hands. Sophie Nankervis thought it was going through. In the end, it goes out of play up against the right behind post, and a boundary throw-in. So we've just seen the arrival of McKelty Lafau, who makes his way onto the MCG. 10 minutes ago, he's the sub. Now he's into the action.
2-point lead for Port Adelaide early. Boundary throwing. Nankervis is shoved to Dixon. Straight in the middle of the number. It's in the back. And it's a free kick for Dixon. 15 out just right of centre. And this is a gift for Port Adelaide.
Not sure you can complain there if you're Toby Nankervis, can you? The hands were right in the back. I reckon Charlie's probably milked it a little bit, and he's jumped forward, but even still, if you're caught behind, you just cannot put your hands in the back at all. Any sort of force sends them forward.
Free kicks. Yeah, even if it's a forearm, Mind you, Tom Hawkins will be getting away with it for 15 years.
Had 6 scoring shots in their season opener last week for 3-3. He leaves one out there early here. This is to the near side. 1-3-9 Port Adelaide. Richmond 1 straight 6. 8 minutes in. Last time Port Adelaide played here, Dan Houston kicked the winner after the bell against Essendon, round 16.
Corby, they kicked a lot of points last week, had 40 shots on goal. This will hurt them, one, and it'll haunt them for the year.
Lawson brings the Tigers back into play to pick it at left half back up towards Lafau. He's outnumbered with Radicalier in front. Can't take the mark. Shea Bolton inboard. Cleverly knocked on by Dan Rioli. Lafau just couldn't quite gather it cleanly, and Boak for Port Adelaide. Half pass to Houston under pressure. Good tackle by McIntosh. Was not rewarded. In front of the 2 benches, Port Adelaide leading by 3 points.
3 direct kicks too, so not good by Port. This is lets them down.
24 behinds last week for Port Adelaide in their 40 scoring shots from the restart. Ross, hand pass away to Baker, sends the ball forward for Richmond. Aaliyah in the box seat, no mark though, knocked off it late. Spills to Lockie Jones, collects off half back for Port Adelaide, kicks down the wing, hands to it and a good mark. Francis Evans, a former Cat in his second year at Port Adelaide. He goes long to Marshall, one out in the cage with Grimes. Grimes in the box seat, takes a nice intercept mark, back pocket for Richmond. Repeating the late change, Maurice Rioli a minute before the bounce out of the team with back soreness. Judson Clark is into the 23 as the sub, and McKelty Lafau starts on debut.
Dylan Grimes inboard to Miller. It's an opportunity as a key post this afternoon. Miller looks to send it up towards the members' side. Lafau's the marking target. Radicalier over the top takes the mark. The former Cat in the key post for Port Adelaide this season. Hand pass around the back to Farrell. A beautiful left foot. Long to full forward. Dixon comes out. Can't take the mark. He might have crashed into Finlayson in the end. Miller gathers to the Tigers. Hand pass didn't reach Banks. It's spoiled away by Port Adelaide and eventually out of play through Darcy Byrne-Jones. In the left forward pocket for the Power at the city end. Port Adelaide by 3 points through 10 minutes.
Corbin, Middlemass, Matt Clench, Mick Moldhouse, Brett Delidio and Lauren Borden, your call team. Live footy on ABC Sport. As Clinchy said, the Power by 3 early. On the boundary throw-in, Finlayson wins it down, but the Tigers rebound off half-back. Hurried kick up to the wing. Here's Dustin Martin. Hand pass to Campbell. Handball inside to Shea Bolton. He's away. 2 bounces. Closes to 55 out. Chips it into the path of McKelty Lafau. They're trying to hold out Radicalier. It knocks into the goalpost and put it down as a poster for Shea Bolton from long range. He was just trying to put it into the path of Lafau. Didn't quite sit for him. In the end of behind for Richmond. 1-1. They trail Port Adelaide 1-3. The Power by 2 points after 10 minutes.
Lafau tried to do the right team thing. Just shepherd it through. He had to put a big slipper into it and try and soccer it through.
Well, isn't that 15 metres? He's got to be, that umpire, really, it's got 25 metres.
Houston into Rosie, back to Houston. Mick says, get the tape measure out. That wasn't 15. Up to the wing. Nankervis intercepts for the Tigers. It's picked off, though, by Burgoyne and Port Adelaide. Hand pass to Aaliyah around his body. He never quite got it to the intended target in Soldo. And Nankervis, the captain for the Tigers, takes the mark. Short to Taranto. Comes inboard to Jaden Short. Edges of the centre square on the southern side of the MCG. Spots Dan Rioli free. A chip game for the Tigers as he comes inboard to Taranto. Played on. Not sure there was a tackle late, but he was cannoned into in the end. And Farrell, in fact, it's Mead who's going to take the free kick for Port Adelaide at left half back.
9.50. Oh. Yeah, well, Shea Bolton ran probably within 3 or 4 metres. Didn't stop the... I can complain about this one, but by the letter of the law, it is a free kick.
Mead just chips it short to his skipper. And the famous number 1 for Port Adelaide. Between this end of the centre square and the 50 as Rosie just lays it up. Marshall a little shove, can't complete the mark. Well, then tackles Grimes without the footy. Ump says keep rolling. Nankervis kicks to half back. Both hands to it, no mark. Hits the deck. Baker onto it for Richmond. Hand pass off half back to Pickett. Tries to break the tackle from Rosie. No free kick. Hand pass away towards McIntosh. Back to Baker. Kicks it straight into Finlayson. And it ricochets out of bounds. A throw in 70 out from the Power goal at right half forward. Port by 2 points, 12 minutes in, 1-3 to 1-1. Live footy on ABC Sport earlier today. The Bulldogs by 8 goals at full-time victory over the Suns.
Soldo lost his footing as Nankervis punches it towards the boundary line. Charging into Rosie was Baker. He's a little worse for wear as McIntosh gathers. Kicks around the wing for the Tigers. It's over the head of Shea Bolton. Aaliyah runs onto it for Port Adelaide. Gets the hand pass away to Farrell. Darts back onto his left-hand side. Adventurous kick into the middle of the ground. It should work though. The mark is taken by Finlayson. Looks up. There's something deep. He has Marshall in the pocket. Heads in that direction. Charlie Dixon's there as well. Marshall takes the mark in front. Just a delicate bit of body contact on Grimes and leant back to take the mark. Hard against the boundary in the left forward pocket.
This forward line has had a lot of football in there. They've had 3 set shots. This is an awkward one. But if they're going to go the next step, Port, this is a sort of player that Marshall's got to be a 3 or 4 goal player per game.
Yeah, I agree. He can be the difference for him.
Absolutely, because Dixon's not always going to be kicked at. So he's got to do it.
Game number 99 for Todd Marshall. They've dominated the inside 50s, 9-3. Now to get some reward. Deep in the left forward pocket. Sets flight. Hits the right goalpost across the face. And another behind. Port Adelaide 1-4-10 to Richmond 1-1-7. 13 minutes gone. Opening turn, live footy on ABC Sport.
And they're all set shots. So interesting at the end of the day, we should count them up. It's 4 set shots, 4 points.
Kick out finds McIntosh in the back pocket. He's going to go long to a contest on the wing. There's Soldo, his old teammate. Takes the mark for Port Adelaide. Second game in his new colours. First time against his old friends. Goes short to Radagalier and the shift is on to Aaliyah, who marks in the middle of the ground. Proper light versus dark today, so Port Adelaide all in the white jumpers and with little black and teal accent. Meanwhile, Richmond in their home strip, the black shorts with the yellow sash. Inside 50, the power go. Drew, hand pass to Burgoyne. Standing start, kicks goalward. It's on target, but McIntosh is back and marks on the last line of defence. 1-4 to 1-1. Early 3-point lead for Port Adelaide, 14 minutes in.
Straight down the middle to Ross for the Tigers. He now works it to right half back where Jaden Short takes the mark. Wheels onto his right hand side. Seth Campbell has space. Takes the mark centre wing under the Shane Warne stand. He looks up and Lynch is on the lead. He puts it out in front of him. In the end, Zerk Thatcher was able to spoil late. It spills to Taranto. Kicks inside 50. The foot races on. Campbell races after it. Deep in the right forward pocket. Goes for goal and misses. Never looked inboard. Decided he was putting it all on the line and a minor score for the Tigers. It's Port Adelaide who lead by 2 points.
It was a good gather and quick shot on goal, wasn't it? I don't mind that he didn't look inboard. I feel like he had the run of play there, having a red hot crack at it.
Farrell goes short to Mead, hands it back to Farrell. Puts it onto his preferred left boot and kicks down the outer edge of the centre square. Dixon trying to get hands to it. Miller knocks it away from him. Spills to Rosie. Hand pass missed Finlayson. Rosie goes back, collects. Drops to his knees. Hand pass a turnover. McIntosh slick hands. Got it to Pickett. Richmond over halfway. Shares it to Dusty. Kicks deep to Lynch. 1-on-1. A big shove to his direct opponent. And Zerk Thatcher had the hands in his back and he'll get the free kick. And fullback for Port Adelaide. The power by 2 points. 15 minutes in. Live footy on ABC Sport. Corporate Middlemass, Matt Clinch, Mick Moldhouse, Brett Delidio and Lauren Borden. A quick share of the footy with Burton, and then he goes long after receiving it from Farrell. Kicks down the wing. There's a shove. It's going against the Tigers and going against Tresice, and as a result, Bergman's going to get the free kick in front of the benches for Port Adelaide.
Bergman looks up towards half forward. Charlie Dixon is the target. Plants himself in front. Can't quite take the mark. Front and centre. Hand pass to Evans. To Ollie Wines. Kick down low. Looking for Marshall. Almost had his feet taken out from underneath him. And he will get a free kick.
Willem Drew.
Yeah.
Not Marshall, Willem Drew, I think.
That was indeed. And Jaden Short's trying to make the case that he was trying to get around to at least put a spoil on. And Willem Drew had his feet taken out from underneath him. Potential awkward landing, but he will get a shot on goal here. Pretty much directly in front, 35 metres out.
What the way they've been able to bring the ball in and mark the footy. They've now got to kick goals.
Looking for some reward for all their dominance. Drew comes in straight over the goal umpire's hat. He puts through Port Adelaide's second goal to extend their lead out to 8 points. 2-4-16 to the Tigers, 1-2-8. 17 minutes gone, opening term on ABC Sport.
Yeah, you're right, Mick. Their ability to find a target inside forward 50, they've got great separation from their forwards, but they kick to advantage really well. And we've seen Drew do it 3 times already, but now he's on the other end of it, which has been really, really good.
Yeah, but from that, though, I'll repeat again. That's 4.
Yep.
That's 1 goal, 3.
1 goal, yeah.
But the thing is, and I think Corby said it was 24 points last week. This is you've got to be careful that doesn't become a habit.
Yes.
Because we've seen
it with the D's, I reckon.
Oh, well, look, last Melbourne and Melbourne over the last couple of years, and it cost them a final last year.
Yep. Brisbane in the past in big-time finals.
Yes, it does. Yeah, it does. You've just got to finish off. And the old thing, bad kick is bad footy.
Yes, absolutely. 8 points is the advantage for Port Adelaide early on. Mick Nolhouse and Brett Delidio in the experts chair. Back in the middle, Richmond a quick little soccer forward. Lockie Jones can't come out and collect it clean, but it'll work out all right for Port. Wines to Mead, hand pass to Finlayson, trots it in the middle of the G, kicks it deep. Dixon's down there in a one-on-one. Miller got hands to it. His direct opponent can't mark. Hits the deck, falls out Richmond's way, and Miller gets a second play, knocks it down to Floston. Tumbles a kick out of the defensive arc. Coming out to meet it, Farrell can't trap it. Still a loose footy. Head over at Brown. He's pushed away from it. And in the end, Dan Rioli squeezed the kick in the middle of the ground. Bolter hits up, collects. Hand pass to Nankervis. Tackled by Jones. Somehow got boot the ball. And Aaliyah can pick it off. Oh, his kick eventually got to Boat. The Richmond player was shepherded by the umpire.
In game 350, up towards Willem. Drew went with one arm. Couldn't take the mark. Tom Brown slides in for the Tigers, but he runs out of room. Under the Ponsford stand, a throw in the right forward pocket for Port Adelaide. They lead by 8 points.
8 points seem to be dominating. Only had 10 possessions more. Most of it, though, of course, between centre and outside of 50.
13-5. Mick, the inside 50 is Port Adelaide's way. As it's thrown back in, Dixon and Nankervis. It clears to the back. Willem Drew tries to knock it on. Taranto is over the footy for the Tigers. Chance for Burn-Jones, but he can't knock it clear. Has a second go at it. Wrestles for the footy. And eventually the umpire comes in and will ball it up. 45 metres out from Port Adelaide's goal, the city end of the MCG.
Morris Rioli, a late out, came out a minute before the start with back soreness, so McKelty Lafau starts, and their sub is now Judson Clark. 6 changes from last week. From the ball up, Houston hands it to Wines, hooks a kick forward, and in the end it bounces through for a minor score. Just a behind for Port, so they're 2-5, Richmond are 1-2. 9 points Port Adelaide's lead. This is live footy on ABC Sport. Full time in Ballarat. The Dogs won there by 48 over Gold Coast.
Boston moves the Tigers out of defence, up towards Marlon Pickett at halfback. Kicks up towards Lafau and Taranto in from the side. Tim Taranto had a fair piece of it, not paid the mark. Campbell gathers for Richmond. Half pass to McIntosh, puts it up towards half forward. Baker couldn't quite make a marking influence on Houston, who kept it in front of him and to his advantage. His kick dribbled forward, though, only as far as Dan Rioli. Hand pass inboard to Baker, who spots up Noah Bolter. He's at the edge of the centre square, looks inside 50, trying to get it back to Dan Rioli. He missed him. Finlayson for Port Adelaide. Hand pass to Willie Rioli. His hand pass sets Zerk Thatcher a challenge. Martin swoops onto it for the Tigers. Gets the hand pass to Ross. He turns it over. Straight to Butters, who marks 45 metres out from Port Adelaide's defensive goal. The Power by 9 points.
His 4th touch, Butters, that is superb. Pinpoint to Wines in the middle of the G. Plays on immediately. Hand pass to Marshall. Turns, kicks inside 50, and Evans marks low down. Centre half forward. He wants to keep going inside 50. Willie Rioli hugs it to his chest. Just right of centre. He'll kick from 45 out.
That was really strange, that, wasn't it? Did you watch that bit of play unfold?
Yeah.
Grimes just sagged right off Marshall.
They all sag back.
Yeah, it's like he's been a goalkeeper.
Yeah. And that's why they're marking. This is what's this? We're talking about the 5th mark or 6th mark inside front 50. And almost every one of them has been an easy mark. There's been rarely, I can't remember a contested mark. So the Tigers are really dropping off.
Willie Rioli, premiership player on this ground with the West Coast Eagles back in 2018. He moves in, his drop punt off the boot, close to the right-hand goal post, the wrong side of it.
So
there's another error, 2 goals, 6 to 1-2. So Port Adelaide by 10 points, but wayward again, they're kicking. 21 minutes into the opening term. This is live footy on ABC Sport. The Australian Grand Prix has ended under a virtual safety car. Carlos Sainz has won it. Ferrari 1-2 ahead of Charles Leclerc, Lando Norris 3rd, and Oscar Piastri, the local lad, is going to come 4th in the Grand Prix.
So it's the best result for an Australian since Daniel Ricciardo lost his place on the podium in the middle of the ground. Zerk Thatcher had 1, 2, 3 goes trying to get a clearance. Hand pass away to Willem Drew. Links it through Farrell. Kicks into the middle of the ground. Burton marks, centering kick. Looking for Marshall. Did he have it long enough? Not in the eyes of the umpire. Spilled down. Well done by the Tigers as they run their way out of defence. Trezise involved a couple of times as he gets the hand pass up to Tom Lynch. His hand pass just a little too loose, and Bergman for Port Adelaide gathers. Hand pass to Butters, who turns and kicks inboard. And Ryan Burton takes the mark on the members' wing.
George Russell's car ended up on its side, so that's why in the waning moments of the race everyone's okay. That's why the race ended under the virtual safety car, and Verstappen and Hamilton were both out in the first half. We'll get your full breakdown, Lids, at quarter time. I know you've been keeping an eye on the race.
Yeah.
Grand Prix.
Yeah, not really, mate, to be completely honest with you.
Port Adelaide, short kicking game in their back half. Rosie with the footy. Power by 10 points, 23 minutes into the opening term. Live footy on ABC Sport. Rosie goes back. Got it to Zerk Thatcher. He marks and swings it across the half-back line to Farrell. Corbin Middlemass and Matt Clinch. Lauren Borden on the boundary. Mick Malthouse, the coaching icon, and Brett Delidio with you on ABC Sport. Butters through the middle of the G. Links up with Burton. Hand pass away to Farrell. Just cruising through like a training drill. Sells the dummy, and then the long-range bomb misses. Another behind. 2 goals, 7 now for Port Adelaide. Richmond 1-2. 23 minutes in. Power by 11 points. Lauren Borden on the boundary.
Just keeping an eye on Lockie Jones down here. He's got a left leg issue, so he had a physio looking at him now. The doctor's coming over to see him, but he desperately wanted to get to the boundary, yelled at Radaglia to get on so he could have a break.
Thanks, Laws. The Tigers have worked it up to the wing. Noah Bolter has it. Hand pass to Baker. Cannon into by Zerk Thatcher. Spills to Martin. Gets it forward. LaFowl takes the mark. Unselfishly gives up the hand pass. Charging into goal. It's finished by Ryan Mansell. The Tigers transition from the last line of defence into the forward 50. Lids was hoping
I wanted to kick it.
Kelty LaFowl was going to take his moment and kick it, but unselfishly gave it away to Ryan Mansell. And the Tigers have their second goal. Port Adelaide 2-7-19 to the Tigers 2-2-14. 24 minutes gone opening term.
Well, that's the illustration of take 6 points for a goal.
Yep.
Now, it's 1 goal 6, I think. Or 1 goal... No, sorry. It's 5 points from marks.
Yep.
2 rushed, or 1 was missed then. So if you make the most of it and you hang in the game, those little tweaks like that all of a sudden make you start to get a bit nervous. Now, if the Tigers pick another one, it makes you... they've kicked 31 points in 2 weeks, or 5 quarters.
No reward at the moment.
No reward, but what it does, you almost lose faith in the way you go about things.
Soldo and Nan Curvis, former premiership teammates, go at it in the middle. Ball spills down towards Shea Bolton. Went down to one knee, jumps back up with a footy, bangs it forward for the Tigs. No mark at half forward for Mansell. Hits the deck. Houston onto it. Tackled by Mansell straight away. Hand pass away towards Rosie in the nick of time. His hand pass too hot. Coughed it up. Rioli, that's Dan. Hand pass away to Dusty. Kicks it back to Bolton, who started all of it. Showtime Shea drills it. Bolton puts Richmond in front. How about that for a bit of work? Got the centre break, went forward, finished it all off, and Richmond hit the front for the second time in the term. Lead change number 2, 25 and a half minutes in. Richmond 3-2-20, Port Adelaide 2-7-19. Mick Malthouse, Brett Delidio, live footy on ABC Sport.
Well, great finish from Shea Bolton, but what will please Adam Uze the most was the manic pressure and their ability to get at the ball carrier and keep heat on that footy. It's just no one could step through that tackle. Zerk Thatcher coughed it up, got it out. Dan Rioli putting that pressure on. Then Shea Bolton, but then he snuck forward. It's a great little touch kick. Beautiful strength through his hips. For a little bloke, he's pretty strong through those hips. He's able to shake them off, and a great finish.
You pay a penalty.
You certainly do, and the Tigers made sure Port Adelaide paid the full toll. Free kick going Richmond's way in the middle of the ground. Toby now curves, will take it. Driving kick inside 50, never got to Lynch. Aaliyah dropped the mark though. Pressure now on the Tigers. Zerk Thatcher can't lock it in. Martin tried to clear it. Spills back to Zerk Thatcher. Kicks Port Adelaide to half-back. Bounces off Rosie's chest. Into the path of Soldo. He's dumped by Nan Curvis, the 2 former Tiger big men. And Soldo stuck on the bottom of the pack, and the umpire will ball it up. Richmond have come to life at the MCG.
You're all over it, Mick. After Port Adelaide's last goal, they kicked 3 straight behinds. Richmond have responded with the last 2 goals in the game.
Soldo down to Butters, tried to volley it out of fresh air. It comes to Dustin Martin, kicks towards Lynch. He can't take the mark. Good spoil by Zerk Thatcher. It spills out to the right forward pocket. Mansell keeps it alive, only momentarily, as he puts it out on the full, trying to shimmy in 1-8 motion and kick it towards goal. It went out on the full, with the Tigers leading by a point. 27 minutes gone, opening term.
Big day for Travis Boak, 350th game, the first South Australian-based player to the milestone, and just the 23rd in the history of the game. A long kick from Farrell, heads out that wing, and then Curtis standing in front of the pack did everything but mark it. Ball hits the deck, Butters out for Port Adelaide, shares it with his mate Rosie. Hand pass to Bergman in the middle of the G, kicks out to half forward, one bounce out in front of Finlayson, just knocks it down to Boak, gets a hand pass back as he tears forward. Finlayson trying to get on his left side, dabs it onto the right foot. Finds Bergman, who kept on running. He marks back in the corridor. He'll kick from 20 metres out.
A couple of nice things there from Finlayson. He tapped it over initially and then got the handball back. I wasn't sure. I thought he might have blazed away, maybe dribbled one through, but thought through the whole process really well, and just a nice little touch kick on his non-preferred. This is where it's got to count, Mick, doesn't it?
Oh, well, this is the seventh.
Crucial.
This is the 7th mark inside the front 50. 7th mark. That's unbelievable.
They've had a lot of looks in their first 5 quarters of the young season, but they've sprayed them everywhere. Bergman straight as an arrow. Jams it through after the quarter-time siren and returns Port to the front. 3-7-25 Port Adelaide. Richmond 3-2-20. Quarter-time at the G. And there's a whole lot to look at in this opening term. Maurice Rioli is not one of them. He was a laid out with back soreness. McKelty Lafau took his place in the starting 22. Judson Clark came in as the sub. So 6 changes for Richmond from the side that lost to Carlton by 5 points in their last fixture here in round 1. Meanwhile, for Port Adelaide, it is Travis Boak's 350th game. We'll tell you more about that throughout the broadcast. And at quarter time, it is Port Adelaide who lead it 3-7 to Richmond 3-2. The goal kickers, 1 each for Willem Drew, Darcy Byrne-Jones, and now Miles Bergman after the quarter-time buzzer. While for Richmond, 1 each for Tom Lynch, who kicked the first, Shea Bolton and Ryan Mansell. Earlier today in Ballarat, the Western Bulldogs by 48 points, a best on-ground performance from Marcus Bontempelli, 31 disposals and 2 goals. He got the top votes from Nathan Burke and the ABC Footballer of the Year. Off the SMS, which is 0437 774 774, Marcus in Kenilworth says, ask Mick if he sent poor goal kickers to the psychologist. Did you ever do that, Mick?
No, I sent them to a little room in the men's department, the men's area.
Right.
Told them to sit there and take their... In fact, to sit at the end of your locker, open it up under your skull and put your brain in. That was my instructions to them. Because...
Did it work? Not always.
Not always. You've got to remember these blokes I had as full forwards. And I'm going to go back a fair way here. Beasley.
Yes.
Kicked over 100.
Yep.
Sumich.
Could play.
Cummings.
Yep.
Travis Cloak. Well, Travis was probably the worst of the kicks.
But Taz.
Yeah, well, Taz, but then he come back as a key back. So I've had some really good forwards. Most of them slotted it when you needed it, but there were occasions. In fact, there were too many occasions.
More analysis from Mick Moldhouse and Brett Delidio coming up. This is Live Footy on ABC Sport.
Time for the family road trip.
98.
The big prawn.
Yes. 99.
The big mosquito. It's a real one.
And 100.
Easy. The big Listen app.
Of course.
The ABC Listen app has a big array of road trip ready podcasts, radio, audiobooks, music and sport. Something for everyone.
I guess it has to be big to fit in all those podcasts.
For a big selection of audio entertainment.
Really, Dad?
Listen big. Download the free ABC Listen app today.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the 2024 AFL season. Every match on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
Wine's dangerous to the middle of the ground. Dan Rioli picks it off, gets it going forward. Baker centre half forward, hand pass over his shoulder to Mansell. He beats Lynch in the goal square. First one coming up and Lynch backs throws it into the advertising hoardings.
Dixon wrestling with Miller, gets good support. Nick Lawson comes in from the side and takes the mark for the Tigers. He's kicked to the last line, put Jake Short under pressure. Can Willie Rioli get a boot to it? They're both on all fours. Lawson comes racing back. Rioli lays the tackle. It's suckered through by Burn Jones. The Tigers have worked it up to the wing. Noah Bolter has it. Hand pass to Baker. Cannon into by Zerk Thatcher. Spills to Munn. Gets it forward. LaFowl takes the mark. Unselfishly gives up the hand pass. Charging into goal. It's finished by Ryan Mansell.
Houston onto it. Tackled by Mansell straight away. Hand pass away towards Rosie in the nick of time. His hand pass too hot. Coughed it up. Rioli. That's Dan. Hand pass away to Dusty. Kicks it back to Bolton, who started all of it. Showtime Shea. Drills it. Bolton puts Richmond in front.
The 2024 AFL Premiership season.
On your radio
ABC Sport Digital.
and on the ABC Listen app.
Back and forth opening term, 3 lead changes. Port Adelaide by 5 points at quarter time, 3-7 to Richmond, 3-2. The footy earlier today, the Dogs by 48 over the Suns, and in the Australian Grand Prix at Albert Park, it was won by Carlos Sainz for Ferrari ahead of Charles Leclerc. Meanwhile, Oscar Piastri finished in 4th position. Hamilton and Verstappen both out of the race early, and George Russell didn't finish either. Port Adelaide by 5 here at quarter time. The thoughts of Mick Moldhouse and Brett Delidio, live footy on ABC Sport.
Well, we've spoken about it a bit already, haven't we? Port Adelaide have dominated that first quarter, but they just weren't able to put it on the scoreboard, Mick. I think they're getting great looks, you know, inside. Some of their pinpoint passing going inside forward 50 was elite, but they just haven't been able to capitalise. The kick inside was good, but then the finished product wasn't so good. So if they can clean that up, which they've probably shown us in the first 2 weeks that they haven't been able to, but no doubt that'll be mentioned, I would have thought, but I don't know whether
I'm not 100% sure you mentioned.
You don't? You wouldn't mention it? What do you
I
think
would just say
an issue for the next bloke?
Well, the only thing I would be saying to them is if you've got a routine, please stick to it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have even mentioned, because no one. One thing is certain, no one goes out to kick a point.
No, exactly right.
So their intent is to kick a goal. It's when you get 24 points last week. We've kicked 7 already. That's 31 in 5 quarters of football. Far too many, given that they're not touched on the line, they're not scrubber kicks. There's only one to the boundary so far, and they'd hit the post anyway. That was from Marshall. The others have been relatively easy kicks, and the worst thing from Richmond's point of view is that they've been marked within 35 to 45 metres, basically in front of goal. So there's some work to be done by the Tigers, but conversely, when you get that opportunity when you take a mark like that, it's go back, do your routine and see if you knock them over. I mean, you can't let your teammates down. So that's the only thing I'd be saying.
18 to 11, the inside 50s, and Port Adelaide were able to take 7 marks of those 18 inside 50.
Yeah, it's a heck of a lot. Heck of a lot of marks.
Travis Boak, the 23rd player to get to 350 games in VFL AFL history, and becomes just the 15th to do it with one club. Congratulations to him. We'll tell you more Travis Boak facts as the broadcast continues on what is a milestone game for the Port Adelaide champion, and day for that matter. Back in the middle, the second term underway. It's Port Adelaide by 5 points. First centre break for Richmond though, as Shea Bolton sends a handball out the wing. Banks is pushed off it. Bergman wins it back. Butters receives a hand pass, sends one to Drew. His hand pass missed Bergman. Runs out of play in front of the Port Adelaide bench. Power by 5 points, and I mean 5 points. 3-7 to 3-2. Early stages of the second term. Live footy on ABC Sport.
Ball spinning back into play. Nankervis in front position against his former understudy, Ivan Soldo. Soldo wins down the tap. Butters after it. Taranto ends up knocking it on to Baker. Hand pass through traffic to Shea Bolton. Kicks inside 50. Down low for Noah Bolter. Couldn't gather it. Lockie Jones in for Port Adelaide. Hand pass put a Lear under the pump. Martin extracts it. Dodging, weaving, trying to get the hand pass away. Knocked on by Ross. Trying to link up once more with Noah Bolter. It comes to Taranto. Outside of the boot. He misses to the right-hand side. A little bit more time than what he realised. He's being tagged by Willem Drew. But a minor score for the Tigers to start the second quarter. Port Adelaide by 4 points.
Kicking the city end. Richmond in this second term. Port Adelaide to the punt road end. Farrell with the kick-out duties. The neat left footer goes long to a contest on the wing. Dixon gets there first, no mark, but follows up as it hits the deck. I think he was legged inadvertently. Ump says keep playing. Got it out off his Backside away to Burne-Jones. Hand pass to Butters in the middle of the G. Hand pass over to Mead. Port Adelaide up over halfway. Kicks inside the forward 50. Finlayson forced to spoil from the back. Down to Grimes, though, the Tigers. His hand pass trying to get it away to Brown under pressure. Umpire circles and says ball up. 30 metres out from the Port Adelaide goal, right half forward. The Power by 4 points. 2 minutes into the second term.
Brett, what we're talking about pre-match about the ability of... Oh, wait for this play to...
Thrown up Dixon, beautiful silver service to Rosie, who bounces it towards goal but misses to the right-hand side. A minor score. Port Adelaide by 5. Mick Moldhouse.
Just talking about the back line, the capacity of the back line of Port to be able to use the ball 55 to 60 metres. That's one of the things that they've improved on from last year, and it's again evident today. Their kicking power off the half back line is just elite.
Nick Vlosten goes short and the kick out finds Dan Rioli, who marks still in the back pocket. This is going to dub it short to Ross, who leaps up and takes the mark at right half back. 12 premiership players out there for Richmond, sharing 28 medallions. Short kick from Ross to Shea Bolton. He's got 2 of them. Comes out wide with the kick, trying to find Banks, broken up by Drew. Hits the deck. Rosie collects. He's under pressure. Hand pass close to the boundary line. Grimes wanted to keep it alive, ran out of room. And a boundary throw in right in the middle of the interchange gates. Port Adelaide by 5 points, 3 minutes into the second term. Just repeating before the bounce, a minute before the start, Morris Rioli came out with back soreness. Johnson Clark takes his place in the 23.
Soldo wins down the tap for Port Adelaide. It spills to Banks, though, for Richmond. Hand pass to Shea Bolton, just into space. Bergman will get there first on the members' wing for Port Adelaide. To Farrell, too sharp for Houston. Baker slides in, tries to knock it forward. Under pressure, Martin just comes in. Clean pickup, gets the hand pass to Taranto. Waits the hand pass to Ross, trying to tap it as Bergman was trying to lay the tackle. He did really well. Gets it back to Baker. Quick kick inside 50. Aliir gets back, spoils it away from Tom Lynch and across the boundary line in the right forward pocket for the Tigers.
Just adding on to that back line, Radaglia has really released Aliir to be the secondary back, and I think it's just strengthened the back line for Port.
They complement each other really well, don't they?
Do they ever?
Zerk Thatcher and Radaglia coming to Port Adelaide in the off-season. Thrown back in, cannon of bodies, non-officiating umpire says a hold, and it's going to be a Port Adelaide free kick going the way of Connor Rosie. Power by 5 points.
Got the full 10 votes from the coaches last week on captaincy debut. Signed an 8-year deal over the summer as well, Rosie. He went short with his kick to Mead, and that wasn't good. In fact, it was Farrell, kicked too much on it. But Richmond win it back. Inside 50, Taranto to Baker by hand, away to Bolton under pressure. Got a hand pass to Campbell, shoots goalward. Lynch trying to mark on the goal line. It's broken up. Zerk Thatcher and a rush behind for the Tigers. Port Adelaide a 3-8, Richmond moved to 3-4, so a 4-point advantage for Port Adelaide. 4 minutes into the second term, live footy on ABC Sport. The SMS number is 0437 774 774.
Farrell straight down the middle, looking for Willem Drew. Great one-hander mark, taken by Ross for the Tigers at half forward. Quickly turns onto his right-hand side, long towards Lynch. Zerk Thatcher gets a hand to it and spoils it through for a minor score. Port Adelaide lead by 3 points. 5 minutes gone, second quarter.
That's another one. Zerk Thatcher adds values. They're getting mauled at the moment. That's only the last 5 minutes, but generally speaking, they've been in control on the back line, even though they've had 3 goals kicked against them.
Oh, yeah. Mick Moldhouse with us on ABC Sport. A long kick from Farrell. What happened there, Lids? High up and under towards half-back.
Well, since Mick has given him a pump-up, they've done nothing but turn it over and send it straight up the chimney.
Oh, I've got a habit of doing that.
After all that, a Selfish performs at high half-forward for Richmond. Then Curvis and Soldo lock up again, and the non-controlling umpire spots a free kick. It's going Port Adelaide's way, and they're away. Houston, hand pass away to Butters, and he's out. Ziggy zagging through the middle of the G. 2 bounces, looks inside 50, kick too much out in front of Finlayson. Whistle on the play, it's a downfield free, and Vlosten cleaned up Butters after he disposed of the footy. And now a clean look at the sticks from Jeremy Finlayson at left half forward.
How good's his sidestep, Zach Butters?
At speed though too.
So good. Josephine Layson's done so well here. He's come that far out to the right-hand side.
Why wouldn't the umpire bring him around where he belongs?
Oh, I've got no idea. He's brought himself 5 metres closer to the centre of the ground.
Amazing. Man on the mark, 5 in from the boundary line. Finlayson's probably 7 or 8 metres in. He moves in on the same line and he puts it out on the full. And the Richmond fans who are howling at the field umpire trying to straighten up his line all rejoice as that kick goes out on the full. Gee, it's looked a little bit like March 24 football at times early in this second term. 6.5 minutes into the second quarter. Port Adelaide by 3 points. Live footy on ABC Sport.
Miller brings Richmond back into play. Long towards Lafau. He can't take the mark, and Aaliyah spoils it out of play. Corby mentioned he was the late in for Morris Rioli Jr., who was out. I loved some of his family and friends were in the rooms. Had a T-shirt that said, "Your Kelpie, my Keltie, our Keltie," which had the Australian, New Zealand and Samoan flag on it. You forget about the families and the loved ones who do so much of the hard work, and getting the opportunity to make his debut this afternoon. It's spoiled out of play from the ruck contest, and another boundary throw-in.
There was a hooker in the room as well before the start.
Kicked 25 goals in an under-19s game for St Kilda City. Kelty Lafau, which got him on the radar of AFL clubs. Thompson Dow's getting a free kick, and you can hear the Richmond fans under the Olympic stand. About time. They go on a right half back, feeling like the rub of the green has been against them. Port Adelaide still leading by 3 points. Thompson Dow looks up towards half forward. Lafau sets himself. Tom Lynch flies as well. Got hands to it, couldn't hang on. Free kick shepherding Richmond's way. Another one. Tom Lynch will take it on the wing.
2 in a row.
No, it's going to be Lafau. He'll get his first actual disposal.
It's
second.
It's a little hand pass. He sends it to Jaden Short, who kicks inside the attacking arc. Pickett leaps high, no mark. Bolton stays down, wins the footy in the forward pocket. Hand pass to Taranto outside of the right boot. Hits the goalpost. Gee, it would have been something special off a standing start. And a kick it, a little check side on the outside of the right boot. Behind, but Richmond all over Port here early in the second term. 8 minutes played. 3-8 to 3-6. Live footy on ABC Sport. Corbin Middlemass and Matt Clinch. Our experts Mick Moldhouse and Brett Delidio. Lauren Borden on the boundary.
Burton into Farrell. Quickly back to Burton. He works it up to Travis Boak at right half back. To move the ball well. Port Adelaide were in there in full flight. Back inside the defensive 50 to Asava Radagalia. Kicks to Aaliyah in the left back pocket. Trying to find the angles and avenue out of defence. Kicks up to Willem Drew. Takes the mark in front of Tim Taranto. His assignment this afternoon. Kicks up towards Butters. He marks centre wing. Immediately turns inboard. Wants to be attacking. Spots up Mead, who looks into the middle of the MCG. It's a risky kick. It's just wide of Burton. He slaps it away from McIntosh. Both trying to wrestle the ball clear. McIntosh is outnumbered. Burton gathers support Adelaide. Hand pass away. Links up with Jones. Back to Travis Boak in game 350. Long kick to the goal mouth. Dixon's wrestling with Miller. Miller spoils it away. Ross was clever. Slapped it on for the Tigers. Overrunning the footy was Campbell. McIntosh's hand pass might be coming back as Burton races after it. Thompson Dow couldn't gather. Seth Campbell goes once more. Gets it to Martin through the middle of the ground.
They're out downhill. Martin links up with Shea Bolton. 2 running bounces. Sweeping Polython. A hand pass away to Pickett. Pickett on the run. From 30 out. Stops it. Tigers back in front. And Richmond running on top of the ground at the G. Port Adelaide 3-8-26, fall behind. Richmond 4-6-30. Fourth lead change already. We're only 10 minutes into the second term. The coaching icon Mick Moldhouse and Richmond champion Brett Delidio. Live footy on ABC Sport.
Well, Brett, Richmond have taken over this quarter.
Yeah.
There's no semblance of what Port gave in the first quarter, albeit the fact they missed shots on goal. But the ease in which they got the ball inside the front 50 suggested that this could be over by half-time. That has been flipped on its head. One is the contested football. Let me have a look, make sure I'm right. Yep, 13-10. So that's gone to Richmond. Inside 50s, well, that almost corresponds with that. That's gone to 6-3 or thereabouts. 6-9. Actually, it's gone more for Port. But it's the way that Richmond will take the ball out of defence.
Yes.
Back in the middle of the ground, Noel Bolter's going to the ruck for the Tigers. A chance to try and get the clearance, although it's Willem Drew for Port Adelaide. Hand pass out in front of Connor Rosie. A burst of pace at right half forward. Kicks long towards the goal mouth. Willie Rioli's there. Good spoil in the end. Volley through by Burn Jones. Olay.
Wow.
Incredible reflexes for his second.
Don't check it.
They are going to go upstairs.
His first one was similar.
Yeah, he socketed that as well.
Yeah, he has no hands.
Spare a thought for James Trezise, who was making the spoil in his second game. Thought he did well until Burn Jones volleyed it back over his head.
In by a metre.
Why would he? Who would ask this. Would this be the central umpire or the goal umpire?
He's a goal umpire.
What's he doing? Is he up in the goal? He must be up in the stand having a pie. Because otherwise, why would you miss that?
Just want to check, I think is normally what they say to the field umpire as we await the official confirmation on the big screen, which should be goal.
Central of the goals.
And Darcy Byrne-Jones with a reflex contender for goal of the year. It was a great finish for his second, and Port Adelaide a much-needed goal to take back the lead. The fifth lead change of the match. The Power 4-8-32 to the Tigers 4-6-30. 12 minutes gone. Second quarter on ABC Sport. A goal apiece so far in this second quarter.
Well, it's amazing how you get goals like that is through the class, through the middle.
Yeah, Willem drew clean off the ground.
Absolutely, absolutely.
That's what created it.
And once you got that clean through the centre, then all sorts of possibilities open up the forward line, and that's just I'd say it's a fluke goal, but the ball was in a good position to be contested back there. So there's no signs to the fact that you win the centre square quick, easily. You put yourself in a great position.
The lead has swung on the last 4 goals in the game. The umpire says play on to spot the crooked bounce. So Finlayson, first clean touch, hands it to Wines, kicks out to half forward. Tom Brown had it, lost it, tackled by Bergman without the footy. He's getting a free kick. Son of Paul Brown, former Geelong footballer. The only game he's played previously was against the same opponent, Port Adelaide, round 24 last year. He turns it over on cue. Burton takes the intercept mark for the Power, goes short to Bergman. Between wing and half forward. Loads up, kicks long in the Dixon and Marshall direction. A couple of one-on-ones. Miller spoils it away, but straight to Dixon. Shoots a hand pass back to the top of the goal square. Got it to Marshall. Touched on the way through once, twice. And a rush behind at the end of the fingertips of Miller last. 3 points Port Adelaide's lead. 4-9 to 4-6. 13 and a half minutes played, second term. Live footy on ABC Sport.
Trezise takes the mark in the right back pocket, having received it from Jaden Short. Goes to Thompson Dow, who marks it right half back. The Western Bulldogs winners by 40 points over the Gold Coast Suns. Wakeman with 6 goals. Taranto has an issue. Gathers the half volley, has to knock it clear. Ollie Wines gathers. Dixon hand pass it straight to Taranto. The Tigers take it back. Dow under pressure, gets the hand pass away. Trezise links up with Dan Rioli. Hand pass to Taranto, right half back. Kicks Richmond in the middle of the ground. Risky kick, it may work though. Mansell takes the mark. They're streaming forward. Radically makes the smother just as they looked out. Mansell tries to go back in and re-win it for the Tigers. Turns, kicks boundary side on the members' wing. Taranto with a hand pass to Short.
He just chips it to Dustin Martin. What a year he had last year, runner-up in the BNF at 31 years of age. He kicks inside the forward 50, looking for the spoil. Finlayson can't connect, falls to Bergman, fights through the tackle. Hand pass to Aaliyah, to Drew, short kick to Houston. And he marks it half back, same spot on the ground. He kicked the winner the last time Port Adelaide played here against Essendon. It was half forward on that occasion as he kicks into the middle of the ground, looking to try and find Marshall. Broken up, the Tigers are away. Short kick from Miller finds Campbell. Seth Campbell in his third game. He kicks it to the top of the goal square for Richmond. Hands to it, Sir Catcher. Takes the intercept mark in front of the behind post. Port Adelaide by 3 points halfway through the second term. Live footy on ABC Sport.
Stepped off his line, the former Bomber, so played on. Had to kick up towards Burgoyne, hard against the boundary. Beautifully reeled in the mark. In front of Camden McIntosh at right half back. Well, don't look at the floodlights call because they're on again here at the MCG, even though the sun is beating down. Kicks up towards the wing. Well suited is Noah Bolter. Couldn't take the mark. Miller gathers for the Tigers. Hand pass back to Vlostone, who kicks up to Dan Rioli. Shane Warne stand wing. Works it forward by foot to Ross at left half forward. Winds off his chase. Just gets it away in time. Hand pass to Baker. 55 metres out. Long towards the foul. It clears his fingertips. Radically racing back. Pickett tries to throw a boot at it. It goes through for a minor score to the right. Port Adelaide leading by 2 points at the 16-minute mark of the second quarter.
0437 774 774. David says, howdy guys. Sitting in my shed having a few frothies up at Rapanya in the Wimmera. Very pleasant. Thanks, David. And Kieran, who's here at the G listening, enjoying the broadcast. More on that in a moment as Burton goes long from the kick out, straight down the middle of the ground. Richmond fans wanted a free, none forthcoming. They end up with it anyway. Baker, hand pass to Tom Brown. Hand pass away towards Dan Rioli. Kicks to half forward. Knocked down by Houston. Ball still there to be won, and Dustin Martin goes and wins it. The trademark fend off to Wines. Hand pass back inboard, got it to Thompson now. He's clipped high. Free kick Richmond. They'll get it at centre-half forward. And the Tigers fans feel like they've been hard done by, but the Tiger Army that are here are in full voice now. And things are starting to go their way.
He just got caught reaching a bit there, Jeremy Finlayson, didn't he?
Yeah.
Smaller player, a bit more agile, be able to get away from him.
He's been in great form last half of the year and this year so far.
Fifth season, only on a one-year deal, Thompson Dow. He skips in. Low trajectory drop, punt out to the right, and it's a behind. Just on Kieran's text, enjoying the broadcast at the G. Worth noting that 2024 is the 100th season that footy has been on the radio. Started during the finals of 1925.
You were in there, Matt?
No, can't say it was me. Were you?
Oh, yeah. I heard the first one.
Port Adelaide by a point, 17.5 gone. Second term, live footy on ABC Sport.
Butters gets involved on a couple of occasions. Got it from Finlayson and then from Farrell into the middle of the ground. He's so creative as he works his way from half back into the middle of the ground. Marshall takes the mark, kicks up towards Willem Drew, who bounces into Marlon Pickett at the edge of the centre square at left half forward. Heading to the punt road end in this second quarter.
This is where they've been let down with this next kick.
Puts it into the path of Charlie Dixon, who rises, can't take the mark. Dan Rioli front and centre, gets it out to Ross for the Tigers. Hand pass to Short, swings onto his right-hand side, kicks down low for Mansell, sliding in, bounce to his feet, dribbled it along the turf. Willem Drew's tackled by Baker, and the ball spills out of play in front of the Richmond fans in the Olympic stand on the members' side. Port Adelaide leading by a point. The Tigers with 1 goal, 6 in this second quarter. Port Adelaide's 1-2 through 18 minutes.
And I'll qualify that by saying this is where they've been let down. Inside the front 50, there's smaller players who are just not at the feet of the taller players who can't mark it anyway in a contested ball.
Port Adelaide by 1. Soldo grabs it out of the ruck. Hand pass forward, rolls out of bounds.
Miller's looked really good down there, I reckon. He's actually competed quite well with Charlie Dixon.
Absolutely, every time.
Yeah.
Dixon doesn't look like marking it.
Brett Delidio and Mick Moldhouse in the experts' chair. Live footy on ABC Sport. Port Adelaide by 1. 19 gone in the second term from the boundary throw-in. Here it comes to Boak. The Molestone man under pressure, holding the ball. Boak thought he got a hand pass away. He's not happy. The umpires pinged him anyway. And Toby Nankervis, the Richmond skipper, will get the free. Big day for Travis Boak. I've been rolling out some Travis Boak facts. There's plenty of those in his 350th. There's the kick from Nankervis broken up by Butters and knocked out of bounds. So we already know he's the 23rd to 350 games, 15th to do it as a one-club player, first from an SA-based team. He's also the only player currently active that played in a grand final prior to 2009. And he rolled out here in his debut season for Port in the 07 grand final.
Nankervis kicks up towards half forward. He's been pinned.
That is
insufficient intent to keep it alive in the eyes of the umpire, which seems very harsh. And Lachlan Jones will take it.
Toby Nankervis, while being tackled, just dropping it on his boot.
Yeah, that's a ruckle. I mean, they don't even think where the ball goes, let alone think if it's going to go out of bounds.
But it's bounced at right angles. Seriously.
Jones kicks up towards Soldo for Port Adelaide, centre wing members side. Thompson down, quick as a flash onto it, kicks wide of Noah Bolter, sliding in Aaliyah. Got good support from Zerk Thatcher, but Aaliyah left the ball behind. Lafau lays the tackle. Aaliyah under duress, gets the hand pass to Burton, steps around Thompson down, hand pass to Drew, gets the hand pass to Farrell, who chips it over the top, and Dan Houston takes the mark. So close, Richmond. It seemed like they were out, but just couldn't capitalise. Port Adelaide by a point.
Open ground, if he turns, he had that much room.
Houston kicks down the wing, one bounce out of play. They're screaming for insufficient intent.
Same up.
Not to me. The umpire says spin it in.
Just on that kick there, if the player had turned inboard, he had players lined up on the far wing.
They're not happy, the Richmond fans. Not many of them here at the moment, and there perhaps was in their glory days from the boundary throw-in. Wines, hand pass to Farrell, his hand pass stolen. Dan Rioli picks it off. Short kick, finds Mansell, who takes the mark, centre half forward, looks for Dusty in the pocket. Little body on Lockie Jones. Martin, sharp angle, straightens up, great kick. Hits up Dan Rioli, top of the goal square. And Dustin Martin does it again. Could have had a ping from out wide in the end. Spots his teammate and puts it straight on his chest.
Beautiful kick.
It was, but I reckon if I'm Liam Baker, I'm going to Ryan Mansell and just saying, just because it's Dusty, you don't always have to go to him. A much easier decision and kick, just to go a much shorter one to Liam Baker. Easy set shot on goal, but overcooked it, and it was just the brilliance of Dusty to be able to find Dan Rioli back inside. Geez, it was a nice kick.
Dan Rioli, the blue blood from footy's royal family, as he skips in. His right-footed drop punt is good. Returns Richmond to the front. This back-and-forth sequence continues. The lead has swung on the last 5 goals in the game. Lead change number 6. Richmond by 5 points, 5-8 to 4-9. Mick Moldhouse and Brett Delidio, live footy on ABC Sport.
Just in Ken Hinkley's court, I wouldn't have thought they were overly happy with last week. They played West Coast, who played a lot of kids, never really got their game going. And I watched that game with interest because I thought they may bring that game and the fact that they got one under their belt into this game. For the first quarter, saw it. Now it's back to Port at their, I'm going to say they're worse. I know I don't want to bag Richmond or say underestimate Richmond, but Richmond aren't playing great football, but Port are playing 20%, well, 20% under that, and really ordinary, particularly when it hits the forward line. No crumbing, no big marks.
Mick Moldhouse and Brett Delidio with you on ABC Sport. Now Curvis beautifully down to Shea Bolton. A burst of pace as he gets the half forward. Kicks towards Noah Bolter, but in front the mark is taken by Aaliyah. Positioned himself perfectly, knowing where the Tigers would be heading. He marks at the top of the defensive goal square. Kicks out to Burton, who marks in the right back pocket. Lauren Borden on the boundary.
Just got a bit of an issue with his right knee, so Tom Marshall came off. He's had the physios and doctors look at him, look at the vision as well. The doctors have said he's okay to go on, but he still looks a little bit sore with the right knee.
Yeah, he's had one of those, Lauren, before. He's had some knee trouble, so it just makes you wonder whether there's something sort of a bit grumbly inside there.
Switches to Farrell and now to Bergman, who looks long down the line. Charlie Dixon's the target. He's outnumbered 2-on-1. Grimes spoils it down. Bounces in front of Mead. Gathers up on Baker. Turned it over though. Miss Jones. Tigers take it back. Ross dodging and weaving. Hand pass to Shea Bolton. Hand pass over the top to Mansell. At right half forward. Long kick towards Noah Bolter. It clears him and Aaliyah. Racing after it Campbell. In the left forward pocket. He just keeps it alive. Hard against the boundary. Centering kick. Finds Noah Bolter. Good composure from the 19-year-old Seth Campbell.
Very, very good. Very smart. Could have blazed away, but no, that's excellent work by Campbell.
Going round the corner. I'm not sold on this option from where he's having this set shot, Mick. I'd much prefer to see him just kick a normal droppy.
Exactly.
Noah Bolter steps out. Around his body he goes, arms outstretched as he tries to lift the Tigers players. Effective on this occasion. Richmond by 11 points as they skip out to their biggest lead of the match. The Tigers 6-8-44 to Port Adelaide 4-9-33. 24 minutes gone, second term on ABC Sport.
Well, I'll make this call. I'm not sure that Port need the 3 talls back there. I'd almost be inclined to bring Radaglia into a key position in the forward line, because right now Dixon doesn't look like marking it. Marshall's off the ground. Marshall hasn't come back on, I don't think. Finlayson really is playing quite. His last half last year is mirrored today. He's just not near it. They need some marking power up there.
Richmond have kicked 5 of the last 7 goals, so the Tigers now by 11 points. Soldo back in the middle, wins the hit out for Port Adelaide. Bolton had it, lost it in the tackle. Soldo gets a second look. He too tackled. Eventually Drew emerges with the footy, kicks across the ground. Evans knocks it away to Bergman, falls to ground, coughs it up. Burton cleans it up. Hand pass away towards Drew. His hand pass at the bootlaces of Tom Brown, collects for Richmond. Hand pass to Banks. He goes away by hand to Short. Jams it on the boot as he kicks down to half forward. Locking up McKelty, Lafau and Zerk Thatcher, and in the end off Lafau it spills out of bounds. 70 out from the Richmond goal. Gee, it's a different looking Richmond team. So Ross, Clark, Dow, Brown, Banks, Lafau, Campbell, Miller, Trezise. It's a bit different from the glory days. Just 12 premiership players remain for Richmond this afternoon from the boundary throw-in. Ross knocks it forward. Here's Mansell. He's tackled by Zerk Thatcher. Ball comes out. Ross gets a second look. Spun around by Bergman. Hand pass to Nankervis off a single step. Kicks inside 50. Big Sav flies for it. No mark. Radaglia hits the deck. Pack forms behind him. Says play on. Aaliyah trying to stand up with it. Tackled once. He becomes the tackler. Umpire circles. Oh, he almost said holding the ball. The ball comes out. Pickett's got it. shoots a hand pass away to Taranto. Handball away to Bolter for 2 in a minute. Snaps goalward, but misses everything. Out on the full.
Totally on top.
Richmond by 11 points, 26 and a half gone second term. Corporate Middlemass, Matt Clench, Lauren Borden on the boundary, Mick Moldhouse and Brett Delidio. This is live footy on ABC Sport and the SMS 0437 774 774. The Tigs by 11 points.
Lockie Jones brings Port Adelaide back into play. Soldo the target. Nankervis reaches over the top and spoils it down. Gathered by Brown. He shovels a hand pass forward looking for Shea Bolton. Charging in Connor Rosie. Tries to knock it out for Port Adelaide. But Jaden Short's high and up and under kick into the forward pocket. Houston thought he had the mark. He got a shove by Shea Bolton. Not sure what Dan Houston was doing. He thought he comfortably had it under control, and now he will get a 50-metre penalty for...
That's silly play by Bolton.
Bolton not returning the football.
Just on the first quarter, Port had 103 possessions. They've so far had 74. That gives you the illustration of how far they've dropped off this quarter.
Had the ball inside their forward half, Port Adelaide, 64% in the first quarter. And as you said, Mick, 16-6, the inside 50 so far in this second. Richmond's way. Port Adelaide with a driving kick inside 50. A clearing kick by the Tigers up towards halfback. And Noel Bolter takes the mark and is bounding away.
Hand pass away to Dan Rioli in the famous number 17. Swings a hand pass back to his teammate in short. He kicks perfectly in the middle of the ground. Finds Mansell. Short kick wide to Shea Bolton. He can load up on the run. Bolton, superb. The emerging superstar jams it through, and Richmond's lead swells to 17 points. 28 travelled in the second term. The Tigs are humming at the G, 7-8-50. Port Adelaide 4-9-33. Mick Moldhouse, Brett Delidio, live footy on ABC Sport.
Well, I reckon, Mick, a reason for that in terms of the possession rate, they just got so comfortable getting it inside and just getting results in terms of getting marks. They're not kicking goals, I get it, but they were getting marks inside, so I think they've bypassed that half forward and that extra little kick to get the better look, to just get it in there. And now the big boys aren't catching it, so the little fellas aren't getting close enough to the big boys' feet to be able to put pressure on, but to mop those balls up, whereas it's just igniting Richmond's offence, and they're just being left with too many big gaps to be able to go end to end, as we just saw then. Yeah. Bolton is just running his own race out there.
Yep. There's no doubt about that. There's uncattability.
Mick Moldhouse and Brett Delidio with you. Soldo hacks it forward with a decisive tap. Gets it to half forward, but Thompson Dow gathers for Richmond. Hand pass to Grimes. Hand pass to Nankervis. At left half back, it's Brown who drives a kick out to the southern wing. It's over the head of Mansell. Races back after it with Burton offering chase. Mansell can't take it cleanly, and it goes over the boundary line for a throw-in. Richmond by 17 points. 7-8-50 to Port Adelaide 4-9-33. The Power led by 5 points at quarter time, courtesy of Bergman's goal after the quarter time siren, but it's been all the Tigers so far in this second quarter. Thrown back in. Soldo wins down the tap to Butters. Can he light Port Adelaide up? Gets the hand pass away to Ollie Wines. He drives them up towards half forward. Charlie Dixon in front takes the mark. He's at right half forward. Finlayson darting back inside 50. Looks up. Puts it into the pocket, down low, Finlayson can't claim the mark, trying to gather 60 from home, hand pass back to Dixon, kicks an end over end, ball towards Mead, it's gathered though by Brown, he clears it for the Tigers, but only as far as Bergman, who marks for Port Adelaide at right half forward.
Todd Marshall still off the ground with that right knee trouble. Bergman kicks long towards the hot spot, big Soldo getting down there, crashes the pack, didn't get a hand on it, Trezise, hand pass away to Miller. Just bangs it out to half-back. Aaliyah moves McKelty. Lafau out of the way. The ump says you can't do that. And Lafau, the first gamer, is going to get the free kick.
I'm not sure about that. I feel like he hit him with his chest. It was just really good body work.
25-year-old on debut got the Tigers' last list spot. He turns it over and Butters takes a strong mark. Lynch crashes into him.
It's late 50
over the shoulder. The umpire comes in to have a look. Butters is slow to get up. And the umpire says, come with me, Tom, that's 50.
Well, it has to be 50. They're the ones that they're trying to strike out. And big Tom Lynch really got caught behind. No need for it.
He's professionally clumsy, Tom, isn't he? He's very good at coming through late and hitting with a big body. Doesn't help when the bloke that he's hitting's 178.
Yeah, and puts him in 20 metres out from goal.
Yeah.
If you're listing my favourite players, Lidge, you don't have to say too many names until you get to Zach Butters.
Yeah, no, I know that. Well aware.
What a player he is. 4th in last year's Brownlow medal. Still only 23 years of age. Butters to lift the power. He's got it. Squeezes it through. And hoping he can ignite something from the road team. Port Adelaide back within 11 points.
Oh, we're checking it. We're not confident.
32 gone in the second. There's 2 ticks left on the clock before half time, but we're going to the video.
Goal umpire's got the shades on like Brett Delidio in the car making his way into the G. Surely he had a good view of that.
Did you see me on the way in, did you? I
did.
thought you were already here.
No. Always keeping an eye on you.
Yeah. Fat arm in it, I was.
This angle, there is no spike on edge as the ball goes past the goalpost. Decision on scoreboard.
Never in doubt. Zach Butters goes straight to Tom Lynch too and gives him a bit of a push and shove, so he's not afraid to mix it up, even though he's more vertically challenged than Tom. And a goal for Port Adelaide closes the gap to 11 points. So Richmond 7-8-50. It's been their quarter. Port Adelaide 5-9-39. 32 gone second term. Ticks by 11. Live footy on ABC Sport.
It was interesting. Dan Rioli went over and pointed to McKelty Lafau and said, last minute, kick down the line. He kind of shanked it on the instep, and really the Port Adelaide players were waiting for the mark. And Lynch tried to make at least a contest, but got it horribly wrong.
Yeah, and that's what it was. You expect your big boys to give you a contest, but sometimes it takes a lot to stop. He'd be like a big semi-trailer, isn't he? It takes a long time for these big boys to stop, but yeah, you just got to be careful, Tom. Otherwise, it results in a 50 and a goal the other way, right on the half-time siren just about.
So a much-needed goal for Port Adelaide because it's been all the Tigers so far in this second quarter. 4 goals to 2. Richmond leading by 11 points with just the bounce to close out the half. Soldo knocks it down against Nankervis, and that will do us. And in Travis Boak's 350th match, Port Adelaide started on fire. As we just look, the players are separating in the middle of the ground. There's a few words being said.
Zach Butters central to all of it, Clinchy, just banging into a few bodies on his way through, and the Richmond players trying to let him know about it.
A little foxy, isn't he? Little fox terrier. He's nipping at everyone.
The Tigers 7-8-50 to Port Adelaide 5-9-39 in that quarter. The Tigers kicked 4 goals 6 to Port Adelaide 2 goals 2 after the Power led by 5 points at quarter time. The goal kickers for the Tigers, all individuals, Dan Rioli, Lynch, Bolter. Shea Bolton has 2 goals, I should say. Bolton with 2, individuals 2. Dan Rioli, Lynch, Bolter, Mansell and Pickett. Meanwhile for Port Adelaide, 2 goals to Darcy Byrne-Jones, individuals to Butters, Bergman and Drew.
And then Zach Butters didn't miss Tom Lynch on the way through as well, as they were jawing at each other again. You're right about professionally clumsy. I always remember Floyd Mayweather was a great exponent out of in the fight game, where whenever he threw his jab, would always just happen to accidentally catch you with the elbow on the way through, and Tom Lynch did it.
Well, there were others that actually went through with their mouth and bit.
Yes.
As you know.
There's been all sorts of things in the squared circle.
Yes, sir.
But Tom Lynch, similar on that occasion, just went to spoil, and as he missed it, the elbow just got Butters in the back of the head. It cost them a goal, though, on the 50. Richmond by 11 points after leading by 17 late in that term. Off the SMS, great call. I just wish we could go back to the old days when the goal umpires and the cricket umpires made a decision, and that was final. Paul from Yarrawonga. Loving the call. I'm in the veggie garden here in Albany in WA from Steve.
Wow.
And from Laurel in Rushworth. Nice to know the ABC has been on the air for 100 years. I'm 85, and I thought I remembered listening when I was a kid in Geelong. Thanks, Laurel. Nice to still have you with us all these years later. 0437 774 774. Half-time at the G. Second of 3 games on the slate for Sunday footy in round 2. Earlier, it was the Western Bulldogs by 48 points over the Gold Coast. And half-time here at the G, Richmond by 11 over Port Adelaide. The coaching icon, Mick Malthouse, the Richmond champion, Brett Delidio, with you live footy on ABC Sport.
I know before the game, I've got to say this, that I spent a lot of time there at Good with my grandparents. And at 7 o'clock, they had the roaring fire. Just remember the fire going, and the ABC News. You have and the news.
I remember that too with my
and
grandparents.
7:30, we started the Rosary.
Yeah, right.
Grandparents
right on the button.
Right, 7:30 the news was over. So and because like that was it. You had the radio. There's no TV. We had an ice chest. We had the Coolgardie safe for the meat, and you look back and that was in the late 50s, early 60s. So. And we're saying this is 100 years old. So imagine what it was like
on the wireless
in those days. Huh? Yeah, at the wireless.
On the wireless.
Oh, yeah.
I used to love my
had the wireless. Had the wireless.
Get the wireless.
About the game, there is one stat that has said it all this quarter. outside of the 50s, inside 50s, which is dominated by Richmond. It's 27 contested football Port to 40. In the first quarter, it was about even. Richmond dominated the loose football, the hard football, the go-and-get football, the tough football, and as a consequence, Port paid a penalty.
Yeah, they just bring it up on the TV as well as we speak. That plus 13, and that's what got them going forward, didn't it? And we talk about that ability for their small backs of Richmond to mop up and then create, but then they created that space because they won the contested ball first.
Yes, exactly. And that stat was a half-time stat. At quarter time was 30 all.
Yeah.
So that was 17 different in that quarter. And you can look at any little pointer you like. Okay, the scoreboard's the best pointer because if you're in front, you've done something right. But when you find out how you got in front, there's no question. I reckon Ken Hinkley would be absolutely going nuts at the moment because he prides himself on that ability, or he prides his side on that ability to actually work the ball over.
Yep.
Andamuze, I'm watching a new coach come in, and I thought they were dreadfully stiff last week against a very, very football side.
Bad injuries.
Injuries cost them. And that's why I thought today, because they battled their heart out last week, I thought maybe they've got nothing left. But he has instilled into them a real fierceness. Corby's already set him out a number of new players in the side, and they are playing with that same fierceness. And, Dusty Martin's hardly killing him. What he does well, but he's hardly killing him. Bolton's been outstanding. But on the flip side, I'm having a look at Willie Rioli. Didn't touch the ball that quarter. He's had one and two. Radically doesn't get a lot of football anyway. Other players that you expect a lot more are just not contributing with Port. It's a very even performance by the Tigers, given that Lynch has only had one kick, and you have a look, and they've still had 15 shots on goal. So it's been a terrific performance by the Tigers. Terrific performance.
What do you make of it, Lids?
Oh, it's impressive that the Tigers can be so undermanned with a lot of their best players out, but their effort and intensity, so it doesn't matter one soldier out, one soldier in, and you still bring that same intensity effort that Adelaide would be incredibly impressed with. Doesn't matter the name that's on the back of the jumper, it's just get after them and put pressure on at the source, and that's what I think Port Adelaide haven't been able to fight their way through. They've seen a number of coughed up handballs and putting their teammate under pressure with loopy ones, which is just invited pressure, and that's almost going back to a little bit old school Richmond, in terms of their era, was pressure on the footy.
What do you think? 17 to 13, the clearance is the way of the Tigers.
Well, Nankervis is right on top.
Yeah. Is Richmond's midfield outplaying Port Adelaide at this stage?
Well, the names are getting done, aren't they? But it's through initially Nankervis, I think, with first hands on. So Soldo needs to bring a little bit more in that. But I think
he's trying. I don't think the gap between Nankervis and Soldo is what it is.
Yeah.
They're both big, tall players, but one's a bit more talented than the other, and I just think we're seeing that. I don't think Solo is going to get better. It's just whether
can he nullify a bit more, maybe?
That's exactly right. Yeah. It's getting your hand to it's one thing. It's your follow up and what plays in the middle. So I'm going to say Butters had 9-6. He's going okay, but Rosie 9-6. You go going okay, but nothing sensational. When you look at, say, like Bolton's only had the same number, but he looks. Well, he's 428 metres.
Yeah, he's out
428 metres and 2 goals. He's been outstanding in his run from just behind centre through centre and then delivering the football. So there's no accident the Tigers are in front.
And there's Dixon and Marshall. The question was, with Gibcus and Young going down, how they would contain the two-headed monster.
Been really good.
Port Adelaide, as you said, Miller and Grimes, and as a result, they haven't kicked a single goal between them. And Marshall, a bit of a question mark over his right knee, as Lauren told us on the run. Off the SMS, David in, I think it's Baronia. I hope I pronounced that correct. Congratulations to Travis Boak. Top 10 all-time in disposals, tackles, inside 50s, clearances, contested possessions in his 18th season, and has only missed 26 games across the course of his career. I've been giving my Travis Boak facts. The good news is I've got some rippers in the second half coming up. So I've done all the boring ones now. Runner-up in the Brownlow in 2020, 3-time All-Australian. As a 21-year-old, he was the oldest to poll 25 votes at 33 years of age. He's played at 19 different venues, which is the equal most, along with Big Fish Salmon. So Paul Salmon, the only other one to play at 19 different venues. And he's been the oldest guy in the team on 34 occasions and the youngest player on 31 occasions. So it shows how long his career's gone. Yeah. But I've saved my best stuff for the second half. So
you got more.
Stick around for that. They get a little off track in the second half, but a few quirky ones to throw in for you.
Can't wait for those.
All of that coming up. We're only halfway through the day. We're 1.5 games down. We've got 1.5 games to come. The Bulldogs by 48 points over Gold Coast and Richmond by 11 at halftime over Port. Second half action coming up here, and then later today the West Coast Eagles and the GWS Giants. It's halftime. You're listening to Live Footy on ABC Sport. We're back with the second half in just a moment, but first, the latest from the ABC Newsroom.
This is ABC News with David Rowlands. NDIS participants exploited by unfair price hikes can now report price gouging to a new task force. The federal government has launched a crackdown on illegal overcharging led by the Australian Competition and Consumer Commission. It'll be able to investigate providers who impose a so-called NDIS wedding tax and jack up prices just because someone is in on the scheme. NDIS Minister Bill Shorten has vowed to put shonky providers out of business. Rebecca White says she has not resigned as leader of the Tasmanian Labor Party after the state election result, but it's clear her party will not form government. Neither major party will reach the 18 seats required to form majority government, with the Liberals currently on 13 and Labor on 10. Ms White conceded the Liberals will win more seats and will be given the first chance to form minority government with support from the crossbench. She says she has not resigned as party leader, and a conversation about leadership will happen once the full results are clear.
Any circumstance like this requires the caucus to come together and make a decision about the next steps that they take. I respect my colleagues, and when we know the final makeup of the parliament and noting that there are still votes to be counted and still members who are to be elected, we'll sit down together respectfully and have a conversation about what the next steps are.
Both US President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump have won their respective parties' primaries in the southern state of Louisiana. Both were virtually foregone conclusions, with each of them having already beaten their major competitors for their party's nomination. However, primary races are still watched by insiders for turnout and signs of protest votes. For Mr Biden, some Liberals are registering anger over his handling of the war in Gaza, while Trump faces dissent over the Capitol insurrection that was fueled by his false theories of fraud after he lost the 2020 presidential election. The Islamic State group has released a video in an attempt to back up its claim of responsibility for the Moscow concert attack that's killed at least 130 people. More from the BBC's Warren Bull.
Within hours of the attack, Islamic State said it was responsible and has now released a video via its official media channels on Telegram. It includes graphic footage of a man firing at people in the lobby of the Crocus City Hall. The US government has re-stressed that it warned Russia about a planned terror attack in Moscow and says Islamic State bears sole responsibility. It says there was no Ukrainian involvement whatsoever. It comes after the Russian President Vladimir Putin announced on Saturday that 4 of the gunmen responsible had been arrested and claimed they were trying to flee to Ukraine.
Voters go to the polls in Senegal later today to elect a new leader in the country's delayed presidential election. President Macky Sall is stepping down after a second term marred by violent unrest over the prosecution of the country's opposition leader and concerns he wanted to extend his rule beyond the constitutional limit. He pursued investor-friendly policies in the soon-to-become oil and gas-producing nation, but failed to alleviate economic hardship and stirred unrest in one of West Africa's most stable democracies. Police are warning Alice Springs residents to stay out of floodwaters after heavy rain caused the normally dry Todd River to run. The river reached 1.7 metres this morning, forcing several local road closures. Incident controller James Gray Spence says there have been isolated reports of people riding the surging water.
And they were seen sort of tubing in the floodwaters, and that's the wrong thing to do. You don't know what's being pushed down from the north into the river, and there can be snags, there can be unseen hazards.
A search is currently underway for a fisherman in his 20s on the New South Wales north coast who hasn't been seen since last night. Police say the man reportedly left his campsite at around 7:30 to go rock fishing at Bear Point in Coffs Harbour. The man has not been seen or heard from since then. Police are currently undertaking an extensive water search with the assistance of Marine Rescue, the State Emergency Service and New South Wales Surf Lifesaving. Turning to sport, and Ferrari's Carlos Sainz has won the Australian Grand Prix after a dramatic start and finish to the Formula One race in Melbourne. Three-time world champion Max Verstappen was forced to retire on lap 3 after his Red Bull car burst into flames. while a crash involving Mercedes' George Russell brought a premature end to the race on the final lap. Sainz's Ferrari teammate Charles Leclerc finished second in the race, and McLando's Lando Norris came third. Australian Oscar Piastri narrowly missed out on the podium, finishing in fourth spot. That brings you up to date with the latest ABC News. For more at any time of the day or night, you can download the ABC Listen app.
For all those yearnings for truly outstanding entertainment,
I have an idea of what might cheer you up.
You'll find a trove of Academy Award winning and nominated films on ABC iView.
That's a play.
Like Imitation Game,
It's beautiful.
American Sniper, Her, and Spotlight.
There's a story here, and I think it's an important story.
Brooklyn, Carol, and so many more.
Bon appetit.
Always free, always outstanding on ABC iView.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the 2024 AFL season. Every match on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
They're out downhill. Martin links up with Shea Bolton. 2 running bouncers. Sweeping Polython. A hand pass away to Pickett. Pickett on the run. From 30 out. Dobson. Tigers back in front.
Willem Drew for Port Adelaide. Hand pass out in front of Connor Rosie. A burst of pace at right half forward. Kicks long towards the goal mouth. Willie Rioli's there. Good spoil in the end. Volleyed through by Burn Jones. Olay.
Wow.
Incredible reflexes for his second. Mansell at right half forward. Long kick towards Noah Bolter. Clears him and Aaliyah. Racing after it, Campbell. In the left forward pocket. He just keeps it alive. Hard against the boundary. Centering kick. Finds Noah Bolter. Noah Bolter steps out. Around his body he goes. Arms outstretched as he tries to lift the Tigers players.
Dan Rioli in the famous number 17. Swings a hand pass back to his teammate in short. He kicks perfectly in the middle of the ground. Finds Mansell, short kick wide to Shea Bolton. He can load up on the run. Bolton, superb. The emerging superstar jams it through.
The 2024 AFL Premiership season.
On your radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
It's been a fun half of footy. A new look Richmond team under their new coach Adam Uze trying to break through for the first time in the young season up against Port Adelaide, who are 1-0, trying to honour arguably their greatest ever. Travis Boak playing his 350th game. It is Richmond by 11 points at half-time. There have been 6 lead changes. The Tigers did get it out to 17 points late in that second term before Zach Butters kicked one before the bell. Corbin Middlemass alongside Matt Clinch calling the footy. Lauren Borden on the boundary. Mick Moldhouse, the coaching icon, and the Richmond champion Brett Delidio with you. Live footy on ABC Sport and your contributions on 0437 774 774. Earlier today, the Western Bulldogs by 48 points over the Gold Coast Suns. Cody Waitman kicked 6. He only got 2 votes, though, for his efforts in the ABC Footballer of the Year from Nathan Burke, who gave the top votes to the superstar himself, Marcus Bontempelli, 31 disposals and 2 goals. Hard to argue with that. Adam Treloar got 1. The Doggies by 8 goals to open their account. One of your former teams, Mick. And still to come, the West Coast Eagles at home. The banner makes its return, which I know people in Perth are very excited about. They've had the inflatable eagle in recent times.
Is that inflatable thing ridiculous?
The crepe paper banner is back today when they take on the GWS Giants at home.
Yeah. And you know what happened last year?
Yeah.
Yeah, GWS got beaten by the West
did.
Coast. So I think they...
You reckon they will today?
No, I don't think they will today.
They might have to start now.
But I have picked Port today, and I look like a long way short of that one too.
Yes.
So, and I also picked Gold Coast, so that was a good pick against the Dogs in Ballarat. So my picking is... No, picking's not going well. No. Far from me to say who's going to win games, Brett. But I will say that I'd rather that sort of banner than that plastic thing, Corby. and you know exactly what we're talking about down there.
It's big inflatable eagle. It's gone. So Don Pike, it's almost the first thing he did. He thought, you know what, I'm bringing the banner back. That's what we're going to do in day one in the chair. So the crepe paper banner is back. Carlos Sainz won the Australian Grand Prix for Ferrari ahead of Charles Leclerc. And then Lando Norris was third. And our man Oscar Piastri finished fourth. He was cruising around in his Richmond jumper during the week. The Tigs have responded for him with a half-time lead here by 11 points. And Oscar Piastri, flying the flag for Australia, finished in fourth position. George Russell, Lewis Hamilton, Max Verstappen, all the big names, none of them finished.
So that's pretty good. That's a good effort by our youngsters.
Well, it could have been better.
It could have, yeah. So Max Verstappen had a braking issue on lap number 7. But then word came through about lap 29 that Oscar Piastri should give third spot up to Lando Norris, his teammate. How do you reckon you go, Lids, with that sort of instruction?
Is that what happened? He gave it up?
Had to give it up.
I'd be saying, what's that? Sorry, mate, I'm going through a tunnel, can't hear you. Repeat, I can't hear you. Sorry, mate. What's
Radio's
that?
out.
Your radio's gone.
Kick the goal,
radio.
kick the goal. Okay, I'm kicking the goal.
I think the Osterbahn Econ had a thing earlier in the weekend too, didn't he, where he crashed his car and he took his teammates right out of the race.
Yeah, so the other bloke was out.
I'd be filthy with that as well. I'm not sure about that. You bang up your vehicle and now I'm walking and you get my car.
Yeah.
I don't understand how that works.
Around 450,000 at Albert Park across the 4 days. So
brilliant.
A Ferrari 1-2. Little cheerio to our mate Mark Murphy. Lygon Street will be pumping tonight.
Oh, yeah, he's been everywhere this week, hasn't he? He's been doing interviews and all sorts of things.
With a microphone, isn't he? We can't get a microphone in his hands, but
too good for us, isn't he?
Unbelievable. The SMS, Tom and Benalla, great call. Do you notice any obvious change in the Tigers game under their new coach?
I think it's less chaotic. I think it's more structured. That's where I'm seeing it. With younger players coming in, and of course, and some of the senior players that were so dominant in that era have now sort of taken just a little step off and a little step out. No, I am seeing something that's a little bit more calculated.
Woody from Gidgee Gannup in WA, enjoying mixed call, working on my Valiant in the shed. Nice to hear from you, Woody. Kim and Allison listening in Japan on the road from Hiroshima to, is it Okayama? Have I pronounced that correct? Thanks, Kim and Allison. Nice to hear from you over in Japan. What a part of the world. That sounds like an excellent way to do it, to be listening to the footy driving around Japan. Tom in Willers Hill. Speaking of the Rosary, Friday night at John Kennedy Senior's Camberwell House in the late 60s, early 70s. Rosary before dinner. Fond memories from Tom.
There you go.
There you go. Thanks, Tom.
Big John.
Nice to hear from you.
What a great man.
Kanga. 0437 774 774 is the SMS number. Keen to hear from you what you're up to this afternoon. McKelty Lafau, the New Zealander, on debut for Richmond. He got the chance to start. He was initially named as the sub, and Maurice Rioli hurt his back in the warm-up, so came out a minute before the bounce. Judson Clark is the unused sub for Richmond, and for Port Adelaide it's Dylan Williams who is the technical sub. Neither of them used so far. Second half upon us. You're with Matt Clench on ABC Sport.
Butters, Rosie Drew all in the centre circle for Port Adelaide as we get the second half underway. Butters gets the clearance, gets the hand pass out to Burgoyne, drives a kick inside 50. Marshall started on the field but he slipped over as he led out from the goal square, and Dylan Grimes takes the mark for the Tigers. 25 metres out from his defensive goal at the city end. Kicks out to Miller in the back pocket, who sends it up to the wing. Nankervis the target, clears him. Taranto kicks up towards Tom Lynch, can't take the mark, slides past Zerk Thatcher, little toe poke, Shea Bolton sockers it off the ground, then overran the footy. Zerk Thatcher for Port Adelaide, hand pass to Houston, away to Pope in game 350. He gets the hand pass away to Houston. It's a high up and under kick. Bergman had to wait underneath it. He takes the mark out right half back for Port Adelaide.
Just interesting in the response here.
Oh, kick. Bergman just laces out Butters, standing inside the centre square. And the young champ for Port Adelaide just tabs it short, and Dixon marks, true centre half forward. He'll kick from right on 50.
They've had a real want to get back through the corridor today, Port, but the pressure's been so good they haven't really been able to execute as well. But when they do, good things happen.
And from centre forward is so important, but then you go a step further, go inside front 50. This is what we're saying about the 8th mark inside. I reckon it might be.
He missed his first look. Charlie Dixon, he moves in, shoots from right on the 40, on the 50. He can stroke it, and through it goes. Richmond's lead cut to single digits. Port Adelaide with the last two in the game. The power, 6-9-45. Richmond, 7-8-50. The Tigers by just 5 points. 90 seconds into the second half. Live footy on ABC Sport. Mick Malthouse, Brett Delidio.
Too early to tell, but there's just a little bit of urgency.
Yeah.
Which was there in the first quarter, and it was almost like, I think you said it was too easy.
Yes.
And we didn't make the most of it. We'll make the most second quarter. No, there's an opposition out there that are very enthusiastic, hungry, want to impress their new coach. This is a time for Port really to stand up. And in particular, Charlie Dixon. We know he's a great big bloke and all this sort of good stuff, but when he marks, he's got to kick it. He did this time.
Kicked 3 goals, 3 last week. He's on the board here this afternoon. Port Adelaide with the first goal of the third quarter. Soldo wins down the tap for the power. Willem Drew gathers. Hand pass to Butters. Instrumental in the early stages here. He cuts inboard and kicks to Rosie. Port Adelaide fans will enjoy watching that for the next 10 years. Rosie out to the Shane Warne stand side as Jones takes the mark. between wing and half back for Port Adelaide, who trail by 5 points. Lockie Jones looks up to Willie Rioli, who gains a couple of metres on Dan Rioli.
Well, he needs to get going, Willie.
Willie looks inside 50. Charlie Dixon the target. Miller makes the spoil. Grimes races after it. Taps it to his own advantage. Running out of room. It's Travis Boak who tries to knock it out. And Burne-Jones kept it alive. Kept playing as Dixon slips over. Gets a hand pass into the forward 50. Vlosten for the Tigers. Hand pass straight to Butters at Port Adelaide. He retreats back to Boak. In game 350. Centering ball. Big fly from Pickett. It gets to the back and Burgoyne takes the mark.
And
Not sure that was the best move. Nick by Marlon Pickett going for the hanger in the defensive 50.
It might be a free kick there, but I'm just looking at Charlie. Is that Charlie Dixon on the far side? He's been down for a while. I don't know whether it might have been hitting the body or...
He's taken a huge divot out of the ground too in that last contest.
So the free is going to Finlayson, who takes the ball from Chase Burgoyne, and he'll line up directly in front.
Well, he's got to nail this, surely.
Only about 40 metres out for a couple of quick goals to start this third term. Jeremy Finlayson comes in, leans back on it and steers it straight through the middle. Port Adelaide have found the spark to start the second half, and Jeremy Finlayson is able to do just that. As Charlie Dixon is a little worse for wear. Finlayson with his first Port Adelaide lead by a point.
Yeah, just saw what... Sorry, Clint, you go finish.
7-9-51 leads to the Tigers 7-8-50.
I just saw what happened to Charlie Dixon. Phil Grimes trying to put pressure on, and the knee, it looked like right to the ribs.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, as he's sliding in. But I love Marlon Pickett's want to attack the body and attack the player and attack the footy, but sometimes he just has a little brain fart, doesn't he, and overplays the situation. Didn't need to try and sit on a head in defensive 50. Gave away a silly free kick.
Rioli marked it though, so...
Burgoyne, yeah.
Burgoyne.
It would have been a set shot for the young bloke, so...
Oh, Burgoyne, yes, sir, it was too.
Lead change number 7. Port Adelaide back on top by point. Baker out of the middle, gets the centre break for Richmond. Campbell through the sunshine, hits up, collects. Hand pass back to Baker. Richmond are going inside 50. Dustin Martin out on the late. Foul coming back with a flight, crashes into Aaliyah. Ball spits out. Burton handball straight to the boundary line. He could be in trouble. He's getting a free for a high tackle. The Tigers will be filthy about that.
So they should be.
Burton's going to get it back pocket. It's Port Adelaide by 1. 5 gone in the third. Live footy on ABC Sport.
Switches play to the left back pocket when Brandon Thatcher takes the mark. Kicks up towards Houston at left half back. Wants to try and move it quickly. Swings onto his right hand side. Kicks inboard. Down low, Ollie Wines dropped the mark. He regathers. Hand pass to Rosie. Dodging and weaving. Gets around Lafau. Kicks a worm burner through the middle of the ground. Baker intercepts for the Tigers. Kicks long. Lynch is underneath it. Radicalier getting back. Noah Bolters the crummer. Swings onto his right and misses. To the right hand side. Looking to return the Tigers to the lead. Scores locked at 51 apiece.
Yeah, Rosie trying to do something that Thorough Merritt did very, very well. I don't know Thorough Merritt did.
No. Just missed.
Google him up, mate.
Yeah. Gets regular mentions on our coverage.
You've met him, haven't you?
I don't think I have. He was at last year's grand final for the Pies. The all-time great. What did you say, Mick? He was a stab kicker.
Yeah, stab kick.
There you go. Kick from Burton up to the wing. Pat forms here. Half-back for Port Adelaide. Ball up, scores level, 6.5 gone, third term.
First caller 100 years ago would have been calling that stab kick there, called it.
Yes, absolutely. Would have been doing the place kick, wouldn't they, back in 25? Or had that already come out of the game? And the restart. Now Soldo palms it down. Wines hand pass to Butters. He's getting a free. Advantage applied and Port Adelaide away. Burgoyne heads down to half forward. Dixon in the pack as is Marshall, who started on the ground in the second half. No clean possession. Spills to Evans. 60 out at centre half forward. Gives it to Finlayson. Hand pass releases Houston for the go-ahead goal. Houston kicks it through. Port Adelaide with the last 4 in the game. And the power is surging at the G. It's a 6-point advantage for Port Adelaide, 8-9 to 7-9. 7 minutes gone in the third term. Live footy on ABC Sport. Mick Moldhouse and Brett Delidio.
Well, well on Zach Butters there. Put his head in the hole and just was able to get the handball free as he was being tackled, which got it out to Burgoyne. Got him that forward footy. Good contest from Dixon. I felt Marshall just didn't quite engage Grimes enough. Well read by Grimes. Experience, obviously, to come across and affect the spoil, but they scrapped and fought and kept it in their forward half when they just allowed Houston to get on the end of it and knock one through. What have we seen? 3 straight from Moore?
Yeah, we have.
3 straight this quarter. The last 4 goals of the match going Port Adelaide's way. After a sluggish second quarter, back in the middle of the ground. Soldo wins down the tap against Nankervis, then tries to soccer it forward into the path of Burne-Jones, who tries to knock it onto Rosie, but Dan Rioli swoops and gathers to the Tigers. Now pass back to Jaden Short, drives a kick through the middle of the ground. Houston spoils it away for Baker from Port Adelaide. The foot race is on. Marlon Pickett gets there first. Hand pass trying to link up with Campbell. The numbers Port Adelaide's way as Farrell wins the contest. Hand pass away to Willem Drew. Links up with Travis Boak. Dribbles a kick up the southern wing to Willie Rioli. Comes back inboard to Boak. And then gets the hand pass away to Drew. Driving kick inside 50. Port Adelaide, of all the numbers, 3 on 1. It's Tom Marshall who takes the mark. Finlayson did well to disguise. He was never marking it.
Didn't he ever?
Yeah. No, well, it's just good play. Really, that's the sort of play that I expected Port would bring to this game, on building on from last week. Just power running, quick ball movement, open forward line. And we've only really seen it in the first 5 minutes of the first quarter, and now the first 5 minutes of this quarter.
Spent a bit of time off the ground in the opening quarter. Todd Marshall, 2 behinds next to his name, directly in front, 45 metres out. Marshall comes in and steers it through the middle. The Power with the last 5 goals in the match, and they've taken control here at the MCG. 9-9-63 to the Tigers, 7-9-51. 10 minutes gone, third term. Lauren Borton on the boundary.
Just watching Lockie Jones, he's come off again, so he had that left leg issue. It looked like a corky. He jumped on the bike in the second quarter. He's now just had a chat to Ken Hinkley as well, who sent Williams for a run along the boundary, the sub. So they could be looking to make a sub in a moment, Port.
It's interesting, Matt, that you said they've kicked the last 5 goals. They lead by 2. It just shows that how Richmond really strangled that game in that second quarter. And they're still capable of doing that.
Yeah.
So this is where they're going to turn this around.
In less than 5.5 minutes of actual game time, so including time on, they've kicked 5 goals.
Yeah.
That's the last one from Butters to end the second quarter, and now 4 in a hurry to start this third term. Port Adelaide by 12 points. Rare centre break here for Richmond against the Tide early in this third term. Pack forms. Umpire circles. Mansell could be in trouble. He sat on the footy. The ump says play on. Picked up by Campbell. He's tackled, and still the ump lets them go. Burton extracts it. Head pass to Wines, away to Rosie, and Porter off and running again. Kicks into space on the wing, and Short there to pick it off. Takes the intercept mark for Richmond. Port Adelaide by 2 goals, 10 gone, third term.
Short called to move it on as he sends it wide out towards Seth Campbell, who takes the mark on his chest.
Shows a bit, young Campbell.
He does. He's looked good in his first season. The 19-year-old picked up from Tassie as he kicks it right half forward. Inside 50, Nankervis and Lynch are all there. Aaliyah spoils it away. Charging in Wines, gets the hand pass away to Drew. Off half back through Bogue. Feints the hand pass. Dribbles towards a vacant half forward line. He was down as he got his kick away. Now this will be a downfield free kick. And there was no one for Port Adelaide inside the attacking 50 when he got the kick away. So it's going to go to Willie Rioli, directly in front, 45 metres out. And the Tigers' defence would be so frustrated.
You see who was against Clinton?
Dan Rioli.
Dan Rioli. I've never understood the late push.
No.
It's always just been...
It's always going to get... And it's easy to police.
Oh, exactly right. What? If you're going to do it, like, lunge and try and drag down. Don't do the push.
No. No, I reckon you're right. I reckon the lunge and the tackle is more... As long as you don't throw him into the ground, you'll almost get away with it.
Willie Rioli looking for his first goal of the afternoon, and to continue the Port Adelaide surge. He's going to poke it into the pocket. Kicks looking for Boak. He can't get it to him. McIntosh spoils it down. Willem Drew gathers hard against the boundary. Kicks towards the teeth of goal. The reinforcements are there for Richmond, and Noah Bolter takes the mark. Wasn't a bad idea from Willie Rioli.
Shocking idea. Given it's 40-odd metres, you are expected to kick those.
I meant more the sentiment rather than the execution, but yeah, I'm with you, Mick.
Noah Bolter long to half back. No clean mark. Lynch scrapping for it on his knees. Hand pass to Short. Hands it away to Bates. Another Apple Islander kicks down the wing. Little toe poke from Shea Bolton. He's too quick for Burton. Gets a Sunday hop. Hand pass inside to Mansell. Mansell kicks towards McCarthy. Lafau can't complete the mark. Spills to Campbell. Seth chucks it on the boot. He misses everything to the near side. And he's had a few almost moments. Lafau on debut. And Shea Campbell misses the whole set there. Port Adelaide by 12 points. As many minutes gone in the third term. Live footy on ABC Sport.
Halia brings Port Adelaide back into play in the left back pocket. Kicks as long as he can up towards Charlie Dixon. He's nudged underneath it by Miller. His confidence continuing to grow as Ben Miller takes the mark. 198 centimetres.
Good player.
24 years of age, just playing his 26th game in the Richmond backline, which has been so dominant. Gets it to Baker. Kicks in towards Tomlin. Who takes the mark? No, he dropped it at the last moment. He got rid of Zerk Thatcher. Couldn't hang on. It stays alive in the right forward pocket. Hand pass to Taranto. Pinched by Boat. Trying to link up with Campbell. And Boat lays the tackle. Was it in the back? It was either that or holding the man. And Taranto. Let's get the free kick hard against the boundary. He's only about 25 metres out, but will be on a very tight angle.
Can kick him from out here, Lids.
He can. I'd back him in to go on his right boot. He doesn't tend to use the old left shoe too much, so... Oh, but I think he's going to prove me wrong and go on the left.
He's going to give it a crack. Steps out, snaps on the left, somewhat unorthodox, but effective.
Jimmy.
Tiger Tim puts it through, just when Richmond needed a response. Port Adelaide's lead cut back to 6 points with the Tigers' first goal of the third quarter. It comes at the 14-minute mark. Port Adelaide 9-9-63 to the Tigers 8-9-57 ahead of Mick and Lids. Lauren Borden on the boundary.
Dylan Williams will be coming on for Port now as the sub. He's just running onto the ground now, and it's Lockie Jones who isn't going to take any further part in the match, sitting at the back of the bench now.
Yeah, just having a bit of a look at that replay of the free kick. He didn't really take possession of the footy, but Travis Boak can probably consider himself a little bit unlucky. He just carried him forward, didn't really hold on to him, but got to love a midfielder who goes forward and kicks goals. Timmy Taranto consistently does that.
I think he was pretty happy with how well he flushed it.
Yeah, mate. It's well, on the run, definitely going outside of the right boot, but set shot, like it, left foot.
Latest instalment of Travis Boak facts coming up in a moment. 6 points is the advantage for Port Adelaide. Out of the middle, Finlayson kicks inside 50. Unkind bounce for Marshall. Knocked away by Rose. He follows up his own foot. He collects it half forward against the Brown tackle. Hand pass to Bergman. He's met straight away by Trezise and taken out of play. And let the boundary Charlie. Right half forward for Port Adelaide. 215 players have played for the Power. Of the other 214, not including Travis Boak, he's played with 147 of them.
Wow.
So he's played with over 3/4 of every player that's ever played for Port.
Bolter won the tap, down to Rosie, couldn't get a clean disposal away. Spills out to Finlayson, feigns the hand pass, fires towards goal. Absolute class.
Brilliant.
From the number 11 who slams through his second. Just summed up the scenario so well and was able to finish with class. Port Adelaide restore a 2-goal advantage, 10-9-69 to the Tigers 8-9-57. 16 minutes gone, third term.
Yeah, solo dummy and had space.
Yeah, Zach Butters twice though. Just his ability to get out of traffic, his step is elite, and then followed it up with a ground ball just to get it forward. Wow, Camden McIntosh has just bought everything that Jeremy Finlayson was selling. Just a nice finish on the run. They couldn't buy a goal in the first quarter. They haven't missed in this third.
No, and he's picked his game up.
Yes, yes. His intensity's gone up, hasn't it?
And that's what I say. I'd love to have been in the room. Ken Hickley, nice bloke, love him as a coach. He would have had to have had a real crack at them because I was so sloppy in that second quarter.
Zach Butters with his fingerprints all over this comeback. Kicked the goal to start the run. Bolter in the middle, though, gets the centre break for Richmond. Kicks to Lafau, fisted away from the back. Here's Butters again. Hand pass away to Soldo. Just threw the boot at it. Knocks it away to Drew, to Farrell. Quick hands to Mead. Off the back flank. Here go Port Adelaide again. Up the halfway. Marshall the target, and his arms chopped.
What about him chopping? He's just got to, as a player who's been in the system for a while, he's got to take both hands and wrap them around that because you're not always going to get a free kick like that.
Port taking over here in the third quarter. The Tigers have got to hang with them the game. In a delicate position after trailing by 17. Port now lead by 12. Mead takes the mark at high half forward. 70 out. Kicks into a congested forward. 50. Dixon. Velcro for hands. Just leaps up and pulls down the contested grab. And another look at the sticks for Port Adelaide in this third quarter.
And Corby, I'm going to say about this one. generally with Dixon, with the ball sitting on top of his head, he doesn't mark it because he gets a lot of company. But when he's able to run onto the football, which he took 2 or 3 steps, you tend to lose your defender who's then reaching to the spoil. So that was a very intelligent kick going in.
Dixon kicked the first of the term. They've got 5 already in the quarter. Dixon misses. Out to the left. He's missed 2 from close in. 1 in the opening quarter and now to the same end, the City end of the ground here in the third. Port Adelaide 10-10, Richmond 8-9. A 13-point advantage for Port Adelaide. 18 minutes gone in the third term.
We'll head down to Lauren Borden in a moment's time. Port Adelaide looking to make their sub as Nick Vostone is about to bring the Tigers back into play. From the City end, kicks out towards Noah Bolter at half-back. It's spoiled down by Houston. Socket forward in the end. A chance for Mansell. He got it to the advantage of Thompson Dow. He gave it straight to Burgoyne. Port Adelaide take it back. Hand pass to Zerk Thatcher. Into the middle of the ground for Drew. Driving kick looking for Willie Rioli. Can't take the mark. Beautiful crossing by Finlayson. Swings onto his left. A bouncing shot. It's bouncing through. It's Francis Evans who's able to finish on the run. A textbook crumbing goal as he just timed his run superbly, and Adam Uze, all of a sudden this is slipping away from the Tigers. Port Adelaide out by 19 points with 6 goals to 1 so far in this third quarter. 11-10-76 to the Tigers, 8-9-57.
Everything just going right for the Power here. You've really got to capitalise when you've got the momentum, don't you? You can score in big runs, and that's what we've seen so far. Been really good.
They've just made their sub. Richmond are going to lose someone here. Someone's running off.
Trezise, is it?
Trezise, yeah.
How often does that happen when you have, or they may not have made their...
No, it's Port Adelaide who have made theirs.
No, they've made theirs.
Still there.
No, that's true, sorry.
He is hobbling off, though, Trezise. Blood coming from his beak, and looks like he's got a nasty corky or something.
This is a Richmond team without Young and Gibcus injured last week. No Broad, no Hopper, no Prestia, no Morris Rioli. 6 changes from last week. We've got Loz to give us an update, and she told us earlier, Lockie Jones out of the game. Dill Williams is in.
And those names, Corby, if you put those 6 in, this side's okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're going to go zip. Well, who knows? They could go 1-2. They could go zip and 3. They're not a zip and 3 side.
Jack Graham, the other one, out hurt as well with a quad complaint, of course, that premiership player back in the middle of the ground. Soldo wins it down. There's Butters again, slices through him. Hand pass away towards Houston. He gives it to Mead, slips a hand pass out to Burgoyne on the wing. Kicks inside 50, half volley pick up down. Rioli never broke stride. Off the back flank, chips it short, and Baker takes the mark. He looks inboard with the kick. Sits it up, and mark taken. Taranto got it. They wanted 50, not forthcoming. Hand pass to Ross, kicks inside 50, Dow marks. Centre half forward for the Tigers, they need this.
Yeah, you wonder why you're hearing the boos. Tom Lynch got nutted with a 50. Oh, shorty.
Oh, he wants, what happened then? He handed it off to Jaden Short and kicked goalward but missed. I was looking down at Thompson Dow's numbers. None of those are relevant. It's a behind. So Port by 18 points, having trailed by 17 late in the second term. 6 goals swing in the game. Time on in the third. Live footy on ABC Sport. Lauren Borden on the boundary.
James Trezise has headed down into the rooms. He's got a bit of blood on his nose. The doctors have decided to take him down there. Judson Clark has got his GPS put in the back of his jumper, but he's still just sitting at the back of the bench for Richmond at the moment.
Farrell into the middle of the ground for Port Adelaide. It's Lockie Jones who's been subbed out, so Williams is into the action for Port Adelaide. Travis Boat can't break clear. He will get a free kick for in the back.
Yes. That's poor. That should have been just ball up.
As Banks tried to almost jump on his back to try and lay the tackle. Moves it forward to Burgoyne, who comes inboard and Butters marks. At left half forward for Port Adelaide. He swings onto his right, pokes it towards the teeth of goal. Finlayson caught behind, spoiled away by Marlon Pickett. It bounces to Houston at the top of the 50. Hand pass to Williams, little fumble for Port Adelaide. Hand pass back to Butters, beautiful pass. Probably barely 15, it wasn't in fact. Marshall's called to play on. He hand passes it back to Farrell. His kick is smothered by Campbell. It spills to Burgoyne. One way, then the other. Kicks inside 50 and Burn Jones down low. Takes the mark in the left forward pocket.
They've got too many numbers in good positions for Port. That was probably 15 metres, but fair enough for the umpire to call play on. But even then, had good hand pass options. And Richmond then caught sort of in behind their players for any ball that goes in low, you've got to be playing side by side, pushing a player underneath it.
Just continually asking the question now of Richmond's defence. Darcy Byrne-Jones. There's a couple of goals this afternoon from just inside 50, out to the left. It's across the face of goal. It clears Charlie Dixon, who is going to get a free kick for a hold. Or in fact, it might be Ivan Soldo once the umpire clarifies whose free kick it is. It's going to be Soldo up against the right behind post, although the angle is initially generous, and now he's being put on a tighter angle. Has he got the left foot snap lids? I wouldn't have thought so.
I don't think he's a ruckman. He's got one leg.
He's got his hands on his hips as he sums up.
This could go anywhere.
What lies in front of him?
I'm backing him.
Well, I reckon this could end up in the next, probably out in Richmond Station.
He is spinning the ball in his hands as he tries to work out what his approach will be. Drop punt, snap across the body. Shot clock's down to 5. Goes the banana, opens the angle and hits the post. Into the left goal post. And the former Richmond player getting the Bronx cheers from the Richmond support crew. Port Adelaide by 19.
He's a premiership player too, isn't he?
Yep, he is. Part of that premiership team back in 2019. Out of defence through short, a little 1-2, looking for McKelty Lafau, and in the end it's Big Sav, Ruddy Galea, who takes the intercept mark.
He's been inconspicuous but effective, believe it or not.
Traded for pick 32 out of the Cats at the last year's player movement window during the trade period. Goes long inside 50, offhand, spills down to the skipper. Rosie hooks a kick to the goal square. Unset touched on the way through. Picking hot hand pass under pressure to Grimes is tackled. Ball up. 20 metres out from the power goal. Port Adelaide are on a tear here. They kicked the last goal of the third quarter, and now they've kicked 6 goals to 1 in this third term. From 17 down to 19 up, a 6-goal swing in the game.
Now Curvis one down the tap, straight to Wines, who fires on goal. Richmond players saying it was touched. It kissed the post on the way through, the left goal post, so it didn't matter. Port Adelaide by 20 points, 24 minutes gone, third term.
It's the SMS, go the power, enjoying the call from a hospital bed in central Japan. So Godspeed to you over there. Colin Horsham loving the call while cooking lamb for dinner.
Oh, sounds good.
Hope that Japanese thing wasn't the same one driving the car.
No, correct. As Dowd marks off the back flank. Kicks down the wing. Lafau in the pack, the first game, standing in front of it. Taranto moves it on quick. Hand pass to Campbell, one bounce. Kicks inside the attacking arc. Mansell, the target, he's got it. Not paid, but he's getting a free for a push. And Ryan Mansell will get the footy, 25 out right forward pocket.
Well, that was no later, than the Tom Lynch one, wasn't it? Early? So that should surely be taken up to a 50.
Yeah, close. Yeah, maybe. It was in the contest, though. Ring turned his back on him.
Big week for Tas.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah.
Big week for Tasmania, of course, with the launch of the Devils. Banks, Campbell, Mansell. They've got a good record. There's a guy named Royce Hart and Jack Rewald who are pretty handy. Tigers from the Apple Isle. Here's Mansell. Drop punt's good. He doubles up and the Tigers are still in it. Port's lead cut to 14. 26 gone in the third. Richmond 9-10-64. Port Adelaide 11-12-78. Corbin Middlemass and Matt Clinch calling the footy. Lauren Borden on the boundary. Mick Moldhouse and Brett Delidio live footy on ABC Sport.
Well, Brett's 48 positions, 86. It's not, you don't have to be a road scholar to work out it's Port that's got the 86. So they have dominated, but it's interesting. If they can go forward, if Richmond can go forward and kick a goal from it, then it does keep you in the game. And given the second quarter, I like to think second and last quarter sometimes can replicate each other. Tigers just dominate the second quarter.
Yeah, just got to be close enough.
That's it, exactly. If you can just give your side some hope.
It has been a match of momentum swings as Soldo wins the tap for Port Adelaide against Nankervis. Ollie Wines flicks out a hand pass, gets it to Butters, has to give the hand pass back to Williams, drives Port Adelaide inside 50 once more. It's over the head of Evans. Finlayson comes out, lays the tackle on Floorstone, then slips over trying to get the hand pass away, holding the ball. And a Richmond free kick. And the free kick will go the way of Nick Floorstone in the right back pocket.
It's stiff, I reckon. I'm not too sure he thought he just slipped anyway.
I'm not sure Finlayson got a hand pass away was the way the umpire adjudicated it. As Nick Wallstone from half back kicks up towards Lafau, can't take the mark. On to Boo, going through it as he flicked it up to Butters. Umpire missed it, kicks inside 50. Marshall leading back to the centre of the attacking 50, and he marks directly in front, 45 metres out.
Well done, young Burgoyne there. Went back with it. I think you might have called it a throw.
Was there a sneaky little fist in there, or I don't think the Richmond fans thought so?
No, they didn't, but they never do, which is fair.
Now, Brett, you know how to work these machines. How many marks is that inside front 50?
I'll have to go to the full match here. We'll give it to you.
Here's Todd Marshall. 1 goal, 2 so far this afternoon, coming up to his 9th disposal of the match to make it a 7-goal third term for the Power. Marshall drives it straight through the middle. And the Power with a bit of breathing room ahead of three-quarter time. They now lead by 20 points. 12-12-84 to the Tigers 9-10-64. 28 minutes gone. Third term. Todd Marshall boots his second.
Marks inside 50, Mick. Port Adelaide 12-4 for the match, so 12-4.
5-1 this quarter.
5-1 in the quarter.
Yeah. That's diabolical, really. That's when you know that you're...
Well, it's the same as the first quarter, isn't it?
It is.
But they've capitalised in this quarter.
That's right. Compared to you're spot on. Compared to the first quarter where it was 3 goals, 7. It's now, what's so far this quarter?
7-3.
7-3. That's a complete reversal.
Off the back of Zach Butters, had 13 disposals, 8 contested. Kurt Corby's boy and 7 score involvements this quarter. Yep. Wow, he's a good player.
And they've kicked 8 of the last 10 goals, Port Adelaide.
He can really go as Soldo wins it down, winds, turns and kicks out of the centre square for Port Adelaide. Inside the forward 50, bouncing footy, Pickett collects. Look away, hand pass to Miller. Then Sturdy down back, kicks down the wing. Burton didn't realise the ball was coming. Threw his hands at it, can't mark. 3-man weave for the Tigers. Baker, hand pass away to Nankervis, looks for Dusty. Searching lead, takes the mark, left half forward. He's 55 out, he arcs out to his right, he's told to go. Dustin Martin kicks goalward, he's offline.
Wow.
Had the trip though from 55.
Yeah, he did. He summed it up beautifully because most of his players were covered. He probably could have pinched another yard.
Yeah, I reckon too.
Now, Power by 19, half-hour mark in the third. 12-12 to 9-11. Port by 19. Live footy on ABC Sport.
15 disposals and a behind for Dustin Martin this afternoon. As Williams, the sub for Port Adelaide, kicks up towards Willie Rioli. A cannon into the pack. No whistle initially, but there is now. It's going to be a Richmond free kick on the outer wing. And it'll go the way of Tom Brown, the 20-year-old from Murray in the under-18s, Geelong, in his path to the Tigers. Picked 17 back in 2021.
So that's a kick in, and that goes to the wing. That's the difference between Port from a couple of years ago.
Brown inside 50. Tom Lynch the target. Up against 2. Spills the way of Bolter. Can't get hands to it. Cleared by Aaliyah up towards half-back. Dan Rioli had a good piece of it but couldn't hang on to the mark. Ross tries to knock it forward. Port Adelaide still a chance to clear. Wines can't knock it out. Another chance for Brown. Kicks around his body. Into the pocket. Baker marks. In the right forward pocket. And they're around 10 metres in from the boundary. He'll shoot from around 40 metres out.
Be a handy one just on. Probably won't be another score after this, so this is pretty, it's very important.
Yep.
Liam Baker, a 2-time premiership Tiger from Western Australia. A chance to try and just move them within striking distance to start the final term. As Baker starts his approach, out to the right, comes in, steers it straight through the middle. The Tigers continue to fight on. It's Port Adelaide who lead by 13 points. With the Power having kicked 7 goals to 3 in this third quarter. With the Tigers with a little flurry with 2 of the last 3 goals of the quarter. Port Adelaide 12-12-84 to the Tigers 10-11-71.
Yeah, I'm not sure what Brown was going for him, but Liam Baker, just a little ball hunter. He's as brave as they come, given his stature. On the ground or in the air, he'll have a go. That's a big goal for the Tigers on the knock of three-quarter time. Just keeps them within that sniff, and as you said, the second and the last quarter can be a little bit similar. If they can play the way they did in the second, they'll be right within a sniff come the end of the game. Great goal from Liam Baker.
Port trailed by 17 late in the second term. They've led it by 20 on a couple of occasions in this third quarter. The lead is currently 13 as we tick towards the last break. Out of the middle, slick hands, Ross to Nankervis. Now to Dan Rioli, kicks inside 50. He's got it again. Liam Baker turns and points at the big sticks.
This will be huge.
And he'll have a kick after the bell at three-quarter time to cut the deficit to single digits.
He's going to need a Ben Brown run-up to get the journey, some momentum through this one.
He's got it in him, though.
They're not very big legs, though.
It's good. The number on the back says it all.
To make it a Baker's double, he'll have to kick from 52. It's a cannon! Straight through it goes! Baker with 2 in a minute, and Richmond are right back in the game. Port Adelaide by just 7 points at three-quarter time. And Liam Baker, from long range after the three-quarter time siren, makes it 11-11-77. Richmond, they trail Port Adelaide 12-12-84. Port by 7 points as we turn for home. What a dramatic quarter. In that turn, Port Adelaide kicked 7 goals to 4. After trailing by 17, they led by 20 twice. And now they lead by just 7 at three-quarter time. The goal kickers for Port Adelaide. Jeremy Finlayson has a couple, as does Darcy Byrne-Jones. And there are 10 different goal kickers. Singles for Marshall, Houston, Butters, Bergman, Dixon, Drew and Evans. While for Richmond, 2 for Liam Baker, both in the last minute of that third term. In fact, the last 2 came in the space of about 20 seconds. 2 for Shea Bolton, 2 for Ryan Mansell, and then singles for Taranto, Rioli, that's Dan, no Morris today, Lynch, Noah Bolter and Marlon Pickett. Gee, we got a game. Three-quarter time in Travis Boak's 350th game. The text message number is 0437 774 774. Biggles here, cleaning the bike in Inglewood, WA. Shout out to Mum, who's 91, and Dad, who's 90, both in hospital. Rabid Eagles fans. Nice to hear from you, Biggles, and shout out to your folks. Hopefully they're listening, and all the best to both of them. The Eagles coming up next. Very early in the season, but it seems the Sydney teams have been the best prepared. Who slots in the next tier from Dave in Brisbane? We'll put that to Mick Malthouse and Brett Delidio next on ABC Radio Sport Digital and through the Listen app. It's live footy on ABC Sport.
Here's my top footy tip for the season. You can get your games live and ad-free on the ABC Listen app. I know, right? AFL, NRL, men's, women's. Whatever footy you're after, we've got you covered. Every goal, try, mark and tackle. Called by ABC Sports expert commentary team. This season on the home of 100% pure footy, the ABC Listen app.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the 2024 AFL season. Every match on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
No clean possession, spills to Evans, 60 out, the centre half forward, gives it to Finlayson, hand pass releases Houston for the go-ahead goal. Houston kicks it through. Port Adelaide with the last 4 in the game.
Bolter won the tap, down to Rosie, couldn't get a clean disposal away, spills out to Finlayson, finds the hand pass, fires towards goal, absolute class.
Brilliant.
From the number 11 who slams through his second.
Out of the middle, slick hands, Ross to Mancurvis, now to Dan Rioli, kicks inside 50, he's got it again. Liam Baker turns and points at the big sticks.
This will be huge.
To make it a Baker's double. He'll have to kick off 52, it's a cannon! Straight through it goes! Baker with 2 in a minute, and Richmond are right back in the game.
The 2024 AFL Premiership season.
On your radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
Big final quarter coming up. Corbin Middlemass, Matt Clinch, Lauren Borden on the boundary, Mick Malthouse and Brett Delidio. Live footy on ABC Sport, the power by 7. And then to bring the curtain down on round 2, the next stop over in the west, Perth Stadium, West Coast and GWS. Clint Weldon heading up the call. Clint.
Corbin, you know that video clip from a couple of years ago, OK Go on the treadmills? I bet you remember it. Here it goes again. That's a little bit what we're fearing for West Coast today. I should perhaps put this out on the table. It was a year ago almost exactly that West Coast beat GWS. In looking back, what was the upset of 2023, it's almost impossible to see that happening again, as the Eagles do get to play at home, though, for the first time this season, and their fans get to cheer for Harley Reid, the great hope of the West Coast Eagles Football Club and their number one draft pick. Also fascinating to see the most recent draft number one pick before him in Aaron Cadman turn out for the Giants. As if it wasn't tough enough for West Coast, they're also without Oscar Allen, their leading goal kicker last season. He's out with a knee injury. So many problems for West Coast. What sort of a performance can they put on at home when the Eagles fans will farewell the likes, of course, of Shannon Hearn, Luke Shuey and Nick Natanui ahead of today's game? Other than that, it's hard to see anything than an orange tsunami winning here in the West. Blue skies, bright sunshine. Hopefully, the Eagles put in a competitive performance. Corby?
Look forward to it, Clint. We'll certainly be listening on the way out. Final quarter coming up here. The thoughts of coaching icon Mick Malthouse and the Richmond champ Brett Delidio. Three-quarter time power by 7.
Wow, well done Liam Baker and the Tigers for hanging in there. A couple of late goals in that third quarter. We didn't think there'd be another score, but they just blitzed out of the centre and got on the end of it. Liam Baker. That was a huge goal on the siren. Love that.
Well, it's left nothing in it, really.
Exactly right, but they've done it all off the back of just effort, and attacking the man and going up, putting pressure on, not allowing Port Adelaide to just freewheel and get after the game. Love what we're seeing here from the Tigers.
We'll filter in a bit more from Mick and Leeds here, early stages of the final term. It is Port Adelaide by 7. Live footy on ABC Sport. Away we go in the final term. The hit out and then the clearance for Dan Curvis. Kicks to Lynch. Can't mark. Spills down to Wines. And for Port Adelaide, hand pass away to Farrell. Gives it to Zirk Thatcher. Hand pass away to Drew. Kicks straight down the middle of the G. Dixon out to meet it. Marks for the power. Turns, heads inside 50. Marshall, sprawling mark. Catches it at true centre half forward. And he'll have to kick it all of 50 metres.
Well, he is good for that distance, and that's the speed of when you move the ball like that. The back line haven't got a great chance to stop you, so there's nothing wrong with the Richmond back line. It was probably that ball that fell in Richmond's half of the ground that was gathered up too easily.
A big time kick, most of the ground covered in shadows. Just past 6 p.m. local time. Todd Marshall out to his right, searching for the extra distance. It won't have the trip. Lands in the goal square, still alive. Falls down to Trezise. Hand pass away. Turnover. Picked off. Snapped by Mead. He's put it through. Off the left peg, and Port Adelaide with a tone setter to start the final term. Mead off his non-preferred, and Port Adelaide by 13 points. They get the all-important opening goal of the final quarter. 13-12-90. Richmond 11-11, 77. Mick Malthouse and Brett Delidio, live footy on ABC Sport.
I think they're checking this one out.
Jaden Short thought it might have clipped his fingers on the way through. How's the technology going here, Lids? Can you see a finger brush back?
I reckon we can.
Yeah.
I reckon there might well be.
I think he's touched it, but I'm not sure there's enough.
No, you're probably right.
His fingers bending back, but it looks like the ball passes over where his fingertips were.
Yeah, I think you might be right,
finger on the left hand. But I'm not sure it's...
They've ignored it.
They need to teach the players to bend their fingers back as the ball passes. That'll be the next trick.
So the goal stands. Soldo reaches over the top of Nan Curvis, knocks it down to Willem Drew, kicks up towards half forward. It clears Willie Rioli and Short. Racing back Pickett, couldn't take it cleanly. Burne-Jones is onto it, fires towards goal and kicks it. What a start from Port Adelaide. Darcy Burne-Jones with his third, and that's his best. Running into the right forward pocket. Jammed it back through. That being said, his first goal was a volley. That wasn't bad either. But Port Adelaide as quick as a flash, having led at three-quarter time. The margin was cut back to 7. They now lead by 19. 2 minutes gone. 14-12-96 to the Tigers. 11-11-77. Lauren Borton on the boundary.
Richmond has sorted out its sub at the start of the fourth term, so Sam Banks off and Judson Clark is on, so he's just sitting on the bench at the moment, but obviously didn't know he was going to be playing until about a minute before the match, gets the call up and will finally play the last quarter.
I don't know whether Marlon Pickett got a bad bounce there or he just needed to be a bit cleaner below his knees. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. But he just needed to keep that in front of him, didn't he? It just brought Burne-Jones straight into the game. And he's kicked 2 pretty good goals today, Darcy Burne-Jones, off his 3.
So Port Adelaide out by 19 points after those late goals in the third term from Liam Baker, cancelled out early in this final quarter. Back in the middle, Drew gets rid of Bolton, wins the footy, kicks inside 50, Marshall. Sticky Mitts takes the grab. He's got it 40 out at centre half forward, and this is overwhelming.
Well, I'll just say, and I've said to nearly every football side, if you can win the centre bounce, the back line are at your mercy. And that's exactly what's happened now. 3 out of 3.
Willem Drew's been impressive today. Some of his clean hands and ability to get out.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, he's got the last 2 absolute clean as a whistle.
This is his 72nd consecutive game, Willem Drew, which puts him top 10 in the competition for consecutive games played. Here's Todd Marshall. He moves in. He pokes it straight through. Marshall with a couple. And Port Adelaide have kicked 3 goals in the first 2 minutes of the final stanza. They are throwing haymakers, the pair. 15-12, 102. Richmond, 11-11, 77. And for all that hope and positivity leading into three-quarter time, they now find themselves down by a game high, 25 points, 4 minutes into the final term.
Yeah, just like that.
Yes, it's under 2. Well, it's just over 2 minutes. 11 possessions to 3 goals.
Yeah.
11 possessions.
That's efficient, isn't it?
Oh, that's highly efficient.
They've had 3 centre bounce clearances. Port Adelaide.
Yeah, and that's the difference, isn't it? When you're trying to get yourself back on top and on a roll, you've got to get that ball going forward. They had one opportunity and it went straight back the other end for a score.
And Drew's caused 2 of those stoppages, 2 of those clearances.
Todd Marshall with his third, back in the middle of the ground. Noel Bolter goes into the ruck against Soldo. Soldo's tackled, thought he was taken high. Baker brings him down. Great effort by Liam Baker. As the umpire throws it up just to the left, Port Adelaide side of the centre circles. Butters, tackle when not in possession. Just at half-time, what Ken Hinkley might do to try and spark it. I think he went to this guy, Zach Butters, who had a dominant third quarter. Kicks long towards Finlayson. Can't take the mark. Little toe poke from Burne-Jones. The Tigers have the numbers. Dan Rioli's hand pass. 2 slip for Boston. Goes out of play up against the right behind post. Zach Butters in that third quarter had 14 disposals, 9 contested possessions, 4 inside 50s and 4 clearances.
You'd be happy with a game that finished with that sometimes.
Yeah.
Port by 25, a game high early in the last. Dixon wins it down. Drew jams it on the boot, and Grimes marks right on the goal line. Saves the day for Richmond. Gee, they had a pep in their step leading to the three-quarter time huddle. A long-range goal from Baker. If you're just going to get a cup of tea and come back and you thought, we've got this game on, 6 minutes into the last, and Port now out by 25. Grimes goes long down the line, trying to keep it alive. In the end, running out of room, Judson Clark hands the footy back to the boundary umpire, so the sub's on. Clark for Banks. Meanwhile, for Port Adelaide, they made their sub in the third turn. Williams is on for Lockie Jones, both tactical subs, so no injury concerns.
Shallow throw in as it's knocked forward by Soldo. The Tigers have the numbers though as Shea Bolton gathers. At right half back, kicks up towards Nankervis. In front, Radically not paid the mark. Well crumbed in the end. As the Tigers through Clark, gets it forward. Ross's hand pass, set his teammate up in all sorts of trouble.
Well read.
Is that a bump and tackle?
Yeah, Burne-Jones into Baker. In the end, it was probably effective because he didn't gather him high, which would have been the danger.
Yeah.
Ball up at right half forward for the Tigers.
Next stop, West Coast and Gold Coast to complete round 2. The third on the slate, Sunday footy, right here on ABC Sport as Wine soccers it out of the stoppage and Short takes the intercept mark. Corbin Middlemass, Matt Clinch, Lowen Borden on the boundary. The coaching legend Mick Moldhouse, the Richmond champ Brett Delidio. Taranto marking in the middle of the G. That is one with the lot. Set inside the forward 50 and bounces away, and Boken is 350 at the tax it. Breaks the tackle, kicks out to half back, and Drew takes the mark. I've got my good Travis Boak facts coming up. I'll give you one now, Lids.
Yeah.
Sam Pepper told us during the week he insists on having a birthday cake with pink icing because he says it tastes different. So despite the fact it's just food colouring, he believes the pink icing tastes different than the other colours.
Fair enough.
This is Travis Boak, is it?
Yes.
McIntosh shovels it out. Dustin Martin can't gather. Spills off to Ranto. Grimes tries to keep it in play. Through the hands of Martin once more. Dixon got it to Butters. Hand pass straight back to the boundary. Grimes is dumped in a tackle by Boat. It's a rolling maul at the moment as Marshall gets it out to Wines. Hand pass to Burne-Jones. He knocks it forward and gains a good 15 metres for Port Adelaide. He was held just as Noah Bolter was about to gather. Porter taking the advantage. Marshall over the top to Finlayson. He runs into the open goal and dribbles it through. Jeremy Finlayson with his third. And Port Adelaide have kicked 4 goals to none to start this final term. They punched the Tigers right in the nose. 8 minutes gone, final term. The Power up by 31 points. 16-12, 108 to the Tigers 11, 77.
Well done, Darcy Burne-Jones there in that little bit of play. He just stayed at it, but all of them did too. Broke with a big tackle. Willem Drew gets it out, gets it forward. And then Darcy Burne-Jones flicks it on, but then chases up and just smacks it forward, which keeps them that forward momentum. They got a free kick and play on advantage, but it was well done just to keep that ball going forward and all the pressure coming in behind it. Great work.
What a start to this final term. 4 unanswered goals for Port Adelaide. Travis Boak and Zach Butters, their all-time great, and arguably their best at the moment. Both getting a rub down on the bench at the moment. Back in the middle of the ground. Wines, hand pass out in front of the skipper Rosie. There's a free kick. It's going Wines' way, back in the middle.
The Tigers will be too happy with the free kick count.
Ollie Wines, the Brownlow medalist from 2021, sends Port Adelaide inside 50. Lead already 31 points for the Power. Off hands, it spills down to Vlostone. Sweeping hand pass straight back to Wines. He'll get another inside 50, or in fact he goes a little wider. And Mead, who kicked the first goal of this final quarter, marks. High half forward, his 4th goal of his career, just in his 20th game. Son of Darren Mead, of course, a former club best and fairest winner. Kicks to the top of the goal square, and there's Tom Brown. Takes the intercept mark at fullback for Richmond. Port Adelaide by 31. Live footy on ABC Sport. 10 played final quarter.
Brown looks up to half-back. Lafau the target. Flies in front of Aaliyah. Can't take the mark. Does get a hand pass away. Under pressure. Ross got the hand pass to Campbell. Kicks up towards Shea Bolton. He takes the mark and wants to try and play on. He's trying to make the case that Ollie Wines had moved on the mark. Bolton moves it quickly. He's got 2 players free at half forward. Marlon Pickett gets on the end of it from 55, long towards the goal mouth. Unable to pull in the mark for the Tigers was Judson Clark, and off hands. Farrell tapped it over the line. Umpire says throw it in. A little fortunate in the right forward pocket for Richmond. At the city end, Port Adelaide leading by 31 points.
Judson Clark moving to a little better real estate in the off-season as well, Led, so he's gone from jumper number 42 to 23.
Yeah, the great Dan Jackson's not old number.
And of course, Kane Lambert, a little more recently, vacating that from the boundary throw-in. Taranto, hand pass, sets up Ross, outside of the right boot, bends it through. There's one back for the Tigers. They need to get on a roll here. 12-11-83, Port Adelaide 16-12, 108. Back to 25 points, Port Adelaide's lead. 11 played in the final term. Pete the Plumber, a fanatical Eagles fan off the SMS. Busy tradie heading home. Love hearing Mick on the radio. Keep them coming. 0437 774 774. Mick Moldhouse and Brett Delidio. Live footy on ABC Sport.
Well, nice goal back. Jack Ross, he's been a little bit in and out of this side. I think he's been given some faith. I think we'll see the best of him. Good sized midfielder, works incredibly hard, but we just haven't seen the best of him just yet because he has been that in and out sort of player.
Well, they've had so many numbers in front of him, haven't
he has, a lot, yeah. And good midfielders that have probably been in front of him, but with the injuries now, he should get his chance.
Back in the middle, a chance of the Tigers, although Taranto slipped over. Pinched by Rosie, gets the hand pass forward to Willem Drew. Knocks it into the path of Burne-Jones, left it behind. Jaden Short gathers, quick 1-2 with Taranto. Kicks out to the members' wing where Camden McIntosh marks. 25 points is the margin at the 12-minute mark of the final term. Tigers have sort of had little periods where they played well for 5 or 6 minutes. That's a risky kick into the middle of the ground. It finds Vlostone in front of Marshall. Just about everyone is in front of him. The Richmond defender kicks wide out towards Marlon Pickett against Bergman. Bergman spores it down for the Power. Back onto it, hand pass out in front. Losing his footing was Evans, and a chance for The Tigers, who regather through Campbell, kicks up towards Shea Bolton, who sets flight but can't come down with it. Now Curvis hand pass forward. Finlayson knocks it out. Williams on half-back for Port Adelaide.
Bolton slow to get up as well after that big fly. Hand pass into the middle of the G to Wines. Sweeping Polyfarmer, hand pass to Burne-Jones. Kicks inside 50. Dixon
What a kick.
takes the mark. Had some space in front of him and didn't have to work too hard for that. Marks around his waist and he'll kick from about 40 out right half forward.
There's an opportunity there for a tackle just at centre half back for the Tigers to get onto Ollie Wines, but he's just so strong and thick around the hips. It just couldn't quite. But then the releasing handball to Darcy Burne-Jones, he was 1v none going inside forward 50. Makes it very hard for the defender with that much time and space.
Dixon, it's kick 1-2. He's dropped punt, misses.
Yeah, it's terrible, this.
Out to the right. He's missed 3 set shots inside 50 today.
Yeah.
16-13, 109 Port Adelaide, Richmond 12, 11-83. It's the Power by 26 points, 14 played final term. It is GWS and West Coast up next. You can hear it all here on ABC Sport.
Trezise into Miller, who kicks up towards Ross at half-back for Richmond. Around the Shane Warne stand side, Noel Poulter has space. He drops the mark at left half forward. Gathers just inside the boundary line. Kicks to the lead of Mansell, who marks leading out in the left forward pocket. And a chance for the Tigers to make it a couple of quick goals in succession.
Yeah, and that was done very, very quickly. And I reckon Port would be, Ken Hinkley would be seeing our players were reacting to Richmond more so than filling up that space. You can see where Richmond were going to go with that football. They were right back on their heels. Right back on their heels. So I'll pay a penalty here.
Mansell with a couple of goals so far this afternoon as he's stuttering approach from outside 50. Comes in, not a bad effort, just drifts to the left-hand side and a minor score. 25 points as the Port Adelaide lead at the 15-minute mark of the final term.
Ryan Burton with the kick-out duties. And challenge today, Port Adelaide, 17 down late in the second term. They've come with a rush after half-time as Burton goes long up to the wing. Dixon hands to it, spills down to Wines. Been busy in this final turn. Pokes the pass out to Burne-Jones, who takes the mark.
That kick-in is outstanding.
Yeah, wasn't it?
Well, they've been doing that all day. That long left foot, or right, but long kick rather, goes almost to the wing. You've got so much ground then where the opposition have to make up. If the ball falls in your hands, it's gold.
Rosie, a little 1-2 with Burgoyne as they take some time out of the clock. Short kicking game, still 60 from home at right half forward. Port Adelaide by 25 points. We're halfway through the final term. Rosie kicks inside 50. Bit of body work illegally, said the umpire, as Evans tries to shift Lostone out of the way. Travis Boak, 350th game. Lawn enthusiast Lid, so big fan of his lawn.
No, anyone can claim that.
Sometimes cuts his lawn using a pair of scissors. So that's what we learnt during the week.
Well, that's
got to be stitch up, doesn't it?
P1 double snake, surely that one.
Apparently he's very, very particular about his lawn. So Richmond with the footy through Ross at half back.
No kids.
Into the middle of the ground. Soldo had enough of the mark to be claimed.
No dogs either.
Yeah, I can't imagine my wife saying, yeah, go out there with the scissors and cut the lawn. Just take 4 hours if you want. Please.
Did own a pub with Robbie Gray in Glenelg as the kick comes out to Marshall, who marks hard against the boundary in the right forward pocket. A beautiful pass from Ryan Burton. Just hit him right on the chest.
Matty, just another mark inside 50.
It is indeed.
Bit different angle this time.
That is the part of the game where Port Adelaide have been impressive. The Demons would love to be able to move the ball with the same.
Exactly. Just thinking the same thing on this ground.
Ball movement in which Port Adelaide have this afternoon. Todd Marshall has 3 goals so far this afternoon. 3-2. This will take his best. Hard against the fence in the right forward pocket. He starts his approach to the punt road end. The smooth mover puts it out on the full.
Well, I don't know what he thought, because that is almost an impossible angle out there. I know some really good ones have kicked them.
Yep.
But if you're not used to it, that is a weird place to try and kick goals from.
Short of Lostone, he's under the pump here. Spun around in the tackle from Burne-Jones to the umset play on. Pickett had it, lost it in the Burgoyne tackle, and there's the square up. Burgoyne rewarded, will get the free. Right half forward, right on the 50. 16 marks inside 50 to 7 for Port Adelaide.
Yeah.
4-1 in the final term.
I wonder what the scoreline is from that 16. Interesting.
Burgoyne lays it up. Dixon's in that pack. Gets hands to it. No mark. Falls down to Dan Rioli. Hand pass to Ross. Flares it out to Tresice. Hand pass over to Short. Kicks out of a defensive arc. Radaglia throws his body at it. And eventually picks up off the deck. Shakes a tackler.
Get in.
Kicks goalward. Radaglia misses. Out to the rider behind. 16-14 to 12-12. Port Adelaide by 26. 18 played final term live footy on ABC Sport.
Miller quickly brings it back in to Tresice, who marks it right half back. Sends it up towards Tom Lynch. Little shove on Zerk Thatcher. The Port Adelaide defender spoils it down. Mead stripped of it. Spills to Bergman. Martin gets involved for the Tigers. Hand pass to Ross. Over the top to Shea Bolton. Spins out of the tackle by Williams. Sublime by Bolton. He misses to the left. And a minor score. Port Adelaide by 25 points at the 18-minute mark of the final term. This is also the 250th match for Ken Hinkley as coach of Port Adelaide. Travis Boak, the only player on the list who has been there longer at the club than Ken.
So Matty, did you say 250?
250, Mick. What did you have, 725?
That's fantastic effort, though. That's a fantastic effort.
Radaglia hands it away to Burton. Kicks up to the wing. Bergman off the bounce, hand pass away to Butters. He was enormous in that third term, and late in the second as Port got themselves back in the game. Gets it to Dixon, back to Butters, shoots a hand pass to his mate Rosie, hand pass to Burn-Jones, kicks inside 50, and Marshall has got it again. Another mark inside the attacking arc.
Way to numbers.
Number 17, he'll shoot here just left of centre from 40 out. Corbin Middlemass and Matt Clench, Mick Malthouse, Brett Delidio and Lauren Borden, your call team.
Well, this technically should put him away.
Yeah.
Technically, we've watched Baker kick 2 in 30 seconds, so anything's possible, but reality-wise, 30 shots to 25. It's the 31st shot.
Went goalless last week in the season opener. Marshall, he's got 4 today. As the Power further distance themselves out in front. 31 points, Port Adelaide's lead, an equal game high. Comes as we tick into time on in the final term. 17-14, 1-16. Richmond 12-13, 85. Live footy on ABC Sport. The Richmond champ Brett Delidio and the coaching icon Mick Malthouse.
You just wonder what the game would have looked like with Richmond with their big backs that they've missed this week.
Yeah, they have.
Gipkiss with a knee and Young with concussion. Broad, who's a mainstay down there, and sets them up really, really well. Marshall, he has played really well. He's got on the scoreboard, kick 4.
Second half goals.
Yeah, but you'd love to see what he is against, a key back who's just completely locking him down. But maybe this might be the turning point for him, that he can say, you know what, Charlie's going to be the main player. Now I can be the second fiddle.
Back in the middle, Nankervis wins down the tap, charging in Houston off the back into the centre square. Hand pass away to Connor Rosie, to Houston, to Butters. Hand pass out to Soldo. The former Richmond ruckman kicks up towards half forward. The target is Evans, can't quite juggle the mark. In there was Brown for Richmond towards the boundary line. Clark can't keep it alive. And it goes out of play for a boundary throw in.
Of those 17 marks, I still think probably 10 to 12 have been on the chest on a lead up, so they're hard to stop, but that means that your key backs have to play in front.
Yeah.
Have to play in front and just take the gamble that they've got to then kick over your head.
Mick Malthouse and Brett Delidio with you as Nankervis wins down the tap to Taranto, kicks up towards half forward. Bolter just couldn't quite take it cleanly. He scraps with Zerk Thatcher and it goes out of play. Bolter thought it was off the boot of Zerk Thatcher. The umpire didn't agree. The other stat you forgot to mention is back in 2012, when Geelong, of course, came to town trying to lure Travis Boak to the Cattery, and he said no. I wonder how much money was on offer, Lids. Probably was the premierships.
Yeah, we tried to get him to the Tigers as well. I didn't go over there in trackies, though. Put it that way.
Right. Boundary throw in. Baker high up and under down to half forward. Houston takes the mark. Mick, you would have been with multiple teams during the Travis Boak era. Did you try a couple of times?
No, I look at where they come from and you're just wasting your time. I've had a couple of blokes at my table thinking, well, what have I got them here for? Because they live in a certain area and they made up their mind. Paddy Dangerfield was one
you'd have to throw up the stumps, though, with Paddy, sure.
Oh, well, I coached Paddy in Ireland and I thought, well, have I got half a chance? Well, I had no chance because he was always going to go to Geelong. I found that Moggs Creek was a long way from Carlton. or was it Richmond for Collingwood?
Port have turned the ball over, and now Richmond back the other way. Is short with a long kick inside 50. Here's McKelty-Lafau, takes a bounce, trying to dodge Houston. He took on the tackler, hand pass to Campbell. He's mowed down by Aaliyah. He's had a couple of little moments. Lafau hasn't been able to put one away on debut. We're inside the last 5 minutes, and a boundary throwing now forward pocket for the Tigers. It is Port by 31 points, 23 gone, final turn.
Just the slight differences between the VFL and the AFL. The former Melbourne Storm development player looked at his opponent, thought, I'll shove you out of the way, but he managed to bring him down from the throw in. Baker looking for his third, dribbles it through. Soldo one down the tap, and Baker just read it superbly. He has tried his absolute heart out. Kicked 2 goals late in the third quarter, 1 in the fourth. Port Adelaide's lead is 25 points once more. But Liam Baker, a heart and soul player for the Tigers. 17-14, 116 Port Adelaide to the Tigers 13-13, 91.
He's a beauty.
Where will he be next year?
I think he'll stay at the Tigers. If I'm being, I don't know the kid, but I think they'll be doing everything they can. 3 of my favourite players are out there. One of them's yours, Corbin, Connor Rosie, Zach Butters, and this bloke. Just love the way he goes about it. Super clean below his knees, but brave as in the air as well.
And plays a lot of positions.
Plays a lot of positions. Dimmer used to, he needed someone behind the ball, back he'd go. He wanted something more up front, he put him in there. Now seen him in on the nut as well for the centre bounce. Can do it all.
3 goals. All of them from the late stages of the third quarter onwards, back to 25 points, Port's lead. Clark coming in off the wing, grabs it, tackled, dispossessed. Rosie collects the loose Sharon in the middle of the G. Turns and sends Port Adelaide deep inside 50. Dixon hands to it, no mark. Falls down to Evans, jams it on the boot, misses. There's a free kick. It's coming back to Dixon for a hold.
Well, this is no guarantee, is it? He's kicked, 1-3, and he's only 15 metres out. That makes it... There's some plays make you nervous the closer they are in.
1 goal, 3, and his 3 behinds are all from set shots.
Jesus, not much.
No. Was that a free kick there?
Yeah, that was because he saw one arm around. That's why he's paid that. That's ridiculous.
No,
that's not a free kick.
No way.
It's been an amazing second half for Port Adelaide as Dixon trots in. He's got a couple, and the Power are in charge. 13 goals after half-time. Port Adelaide by a game-high 31 points, 25 and a half minutes gone in the final term. Port Adelaide 18-14, 122 lead Richmond 13-13, 91.
Just undermanned in many respects, Richmond, but their heart...
their effort, Uze said that last week, though, we're proud. You couldn't not be proud of the way they fought.
They've had a crack. They've had a real crack. It hasn't been through lack of effort that they're going to lose this game. It's manpower. There's no question about that. The only thing I would question them about is through the corridor or through probably from centre, back 50 to front 50. The pressure applied there hasn't been as exact as you'd like because they've been able to use the ball too easily to their forward line.
Back in the middle of the ground, Soldo wins down the tap against Nern-Curvis, but onto it for the Tigers as Ross kicks up towards half forward. Leading up the mark is taken by Ryan Mansell. Between wing and half forward on the members' side. He kicks up towards Tom Lynch in a wrestle with Zerk Thatcher. The Port Adelaide defender worked his way to the front. The frustrated Tiger took a big grab at his jumper and gave away the free kick.
He's been good today.
Yeah, 2 rightios. Their 3 big tools have been very, very impressive.
Yep. I think we said earlier in the call, they complement each other so well.
It's just sort of the area Port Adelaide always looked a little exposed when Alir was isolated, and Brandon Zerk Thatcher has played his role beautifully. Thompson Dow gathers for the Tigers, hand pass to Baker, he's locked up by Willem Drew.
Well, Tom Jonas had to play so much bigger than what he was. They had Cleary down there as well, but now the addition of those 2 big boys down there just makes it so much better for Alir to be able to sag off and intercept.
From the restart, Rosie paddles it to his own advantage. Shea Bolton giving chase. Rosie gets away from him and then falls over. He's met in a hurry. Clark Clever just paddles it to Bolton's advantage. He tries to link up with Bolter. Can't take the mark. Still follows it up. Centre half forward. Tackled. Taken the ground.
That's a great tackle. At this time, 3 minutes to go. That's that is a very, very good tackle.
Ollie Wines wrapping up the big man. Ball and all. Ball up half forward for the Tigers off the SMS. Enjoying the call in the tractor at Inverloch. Nice to hear from you and from Shane. Great call as always, listening with my dog Ripley. Her and I Baggers fans, so enjoying a stress-free football weekend.
Now curves one down the tap, close to the boundary line. Ross and Wines take it across. It's the unusual nature that Carlton and Brisbane have the bye.
So two teams get byes very quickly, Matty.
Yep. And similar again next week. We have another two teams who have the bye, despite the footy starting on Thursday night. Collingwood and Brisbane. Won't that be a mouth-watering affair? Then Houston can't break through.
What's at stake next Thursday night?
Just probably the season for both teams. It's the GWS and the Gold Coast Suns who have the bye next week. Hand pass came out to Thompson Dow, little fumble. Gets the hand pass to Brown. He can centre it and short marks.
Busy couple of weeks, so Easter next week, Thursday through to Monday, all footy. And then gather round in Adelaide starting Thursday the following week. A short kicks inside the forward 50, hands to it from McIntosh. No mark, falls to Lynch. Snaps but misses, hits the post. Behind for Tom Lynch. He has kicked just the one today. Playing his second game for the year.
Was that the first one of the game? He rolled in.
You're right. Yeah, the first one. It was a long time ago now, doesn't it? 18-14 to 13-14. A 5-goal advantage for the Power. 29-goal final term.
Burton receives the kick in from Williams, the sub, and he works it up to Mead, who marks it left half back for Port Adelaide. To feed the hand pass to Burton, who's running the boundary side. Looks up towards the members wing. Nobody really there and sliding in front. Grimes takes the mark in front of Butters. Port Adelaide have Melbourne next Saturday night ahead of the Bombers and Fremantle. For the Tigers, they're back at the MCG next Sunday. It doesn't get any easier. They've got the Sydney Swans awaiting them. Judson Clark kicks inside 50 and Williams is well set. He rises and takes the mark on the back. Good Noah Bolter. 40 metres out from his defensive goal at the City end. Port Adelaide by 30 points.
30,254. They didn't even open level 4 today in some sections of the G, so the days of the 100,000 membership, big roll up for the Richmond crowds. A little soft on the back of what has been a phenomenal era for the club with those 3 premierships in 4 years. Farrell from one back flank to the other, and Zerk Thatcher takes the mark in the back pocket. Short kicking game to Travis Boak. Here he is, perhaps the all-time greatest in the history of the Port Adelaide Football Club. The first of 350. And the first from either of the South Australian clubs to get there. Kicks down the wing and it lands in the lap of Bergman. What a player he's been, Travis Boak. Bergman kicks down the wing and turns it over as Miller is going to take the intercept mark. Big second half for Port Adelaide here. They kicked only 5 goals in the first half. They've kicked 13 in the second half as a turnover off the boot of Miller. Dabs it straight to Finlayson. He turns and heads down to half forward, and Soldo takes the mark. High half forward for Port Adelaide against his old team. The Power by 30.
Soldo's going to chip it boundary side where Ollie Wines takes the mark. And the seconds start to tick down. 31 minutes gone in the final term. Kicks towards Bergman. He takes the mark at right half forward. And the Power with a memorable win for Travis Boak in game 350. The perfect start to the season, just the final margin to be decided.
He kicked one on their socials from this exact spot I watched during the week, so hopefully it goes with big torpy.
Miles Bergman is setting flight from out to the right, 60 out. He can't carry the journey. It lands a good 10 metres short. Port Adelaide with a dominant second half, 13 goals to 6 to win by 30 points over the Tigers. A memorable day for Travis Boak, while for Adam Uze, he's still searching for his first win as the Tigers coach.
We'll never give in till the flag is ours for the
points at quarter time. The Tigers by 11 at half time. And then the Power took control. From that point onwards, there were 7 lead changes throughout the match. A couple of goals to Liam Baker late in the quarter made it a 7-point margin at three-quarter time. But Port Adelaide running out 18-14, 122 to Richmond 13-14, 92 in front of 30,254 fans. The Power, 2 wins to start their season, winners by 30 points. There's a couple of frights along the way, but Port Adelaide proved too strong in the end. Winners by 30 points. 4 goals for Todd Marshall, 3 goals to Jeremy Finlayson and Darcy Byrne-Jones for the winners. Charlie Dixon finished with 2 individuals to Butters, to Houston, to Bergman, to Drew, Evans and Mead. Meanwhile for the Tigers, 3 goals to Liam Baker, 2 goals to Mansell, to Bolton, and individual goals to Ross, Taranto, Dan Rioli, Lynch and Marlon Pickett. Port Adelaide winners by 30 points at the MCG.
First time since 2010, Richmond start 0-3. That's their record under new coach Adam Uze. There's also an interesting trend developing in the competition. We have 5 teams with multiple wins without a loss, and we have 6 teams with multiple losses without a win.
Wow.
So I know you could say, oh, that's great, you were able to read the ladder, but what it basically shows is there's already a gap starting to open up between the top end and the bottom end in the competition in this young season, with 1 game to come in round 2, including the Swans, who are 3-0. The Pies and the Tigers are 0-3 on the other side of things. Other thoughts about ABC Sport experts? We've got about 5 minutes before we're off to the West.
Yep.
The thoughts of Brett Delidio and Mick Moldhouse.
Well, I think, Mick, it was the result I thought that when we were coming here that we were going to get. But you have to sit back and admire the effort and intensity of effort from the Tigers. Undermanned, we know that. They didn't have their best squad out there today. But their ability to stay in that game and to give themselves a real sniff. What did they get up at one stage? 16 points, I think. 17 points.
Yeah.
You know,
that was the back of the second quarter. Blitz, really. They swung, they flipped it on its head.
Yeah.
And it was contested football.
Yep.
Because if you look at the third quarter, absolutely dominated by Port in contested football. I don't say every time you have a contested ball that means a contested quarter win you're going to outscore them, but the DNA's there between these two sides. If you can win that football, you're going to get in the forward line.
Yeah. And I think what turned the table essentially for Port Adelaide was their ability to kick straight, especially in that third quarter. Well, they have 2-7, I think it was, to quarter time, and since then they kicked 16-7, 3-7.
Travis Boak just being chaired off by 2 of his good mates, Charlie Dixon and Ollie Wines. Given the height of both men's shoulders, it means it's quite an uneven chair for him as he's sitting on somewhat of an angle. But
it's a strong base.
The 23rd player in the history of the game to reach 350 games. He's the first from Port Adelaide and just the 15th to do it all with one club. 18-14, 122 the Power. They beat Richmond 13-14, 92. He leads the team off and gets a strong round of applause from not just the Power fans, but the Richmond faithful that have stuck around as well. What a champion he is, Travis Boak.
Certainly, it's outstanding. It's how things have changed in football over the last 10 years, where they get chaired off, but the opposition are there as well.
Yes.
5 years, 10 years?
Yeah, the last 6 to 8. Or
yeah, okay, so something like that. I think any form of recognition like that, I've just noticed a real difference in players' moods towards their opposition. It just seems to be, you're my opponent on the day, but straight after the game.
Probably old school. Go back to the social club and have a fight.
If we might be able to squeeze the votes in and sneak in the Port Adelaide song.
Oh, I can get through them quick.
We're out of here. Give us the 3-2-1 Lids.
Yeah, I gave one vote to the little superstar Liam Baker from Richmond. Very good today, 23. Kicked 3 goals too late on the three-quarter time siren. Just about 12 score involvements. I love that. 2 votes, Willem Drew. I thought he was outstanding. Set the tone early with his ability to kick it so well. And got on the scoreboard as well. And 3 went to your boy, Zachy Butters.
What a player he is. 4th in last year's
huge
Brownlow.
third quarter.
Zach Butters gets the 3. 2 for Drew, 1 to Baker. Port by 30 points. Lauren Borden is in the winner's room. So we're getting close to the song, Loves?
We're very close to the song. They're forming the circle now. So nice few family, friends gathered in here. A lot of teal scarves. Obviously the predominant colour on the scarves these days is teal. But nice amount of fans here. Kind of surprised given how low the crowd was, I guess, today. But everyone's coming in together. They're about to sing right now, Corb. I'm hoping we can fit it in for you.
If this is the last thing we do, we're off to West Coast and GWS following that, the Power by 30 points. Never in doubt, thanks to Lauren Borden downstairs, and there is a pretty happy Port Adelaide team. They are 2-0 on the young season, while Richmond are 0-3. A 30-point win for the Power, completing a sensational comeback, having trailed by 17 late in the second. Thanks to our whole crew, Mick Moldhouse, Brett Delidio, to Matt Clench, to Lauren Borden downstairs, to Stu Birchmore and to Craig Davis back in the studio. 2 games down on this Sunday slate in round 2. The Bulldogs by 48 over Gold Coast, and here it was Port Adelaide by 30. Off to the west, the Eagles and the Giants.